Welcome to another stream. We're out here on the late night Destiny grind for a little bit. You know what time it is. I need to fix my camera. Damn, still I'll fix it, figure out what's going on. But y'all know what time it is. We send out them links, then we're gonna get started. I think that's everywhere. Alright, I'm also about to get this podcast going. I was listening to Andrew Schultz talk to Steve O. So we're about to, I guess, get some details about the whole situation they went through, especially him with Johnny Knoxville, which I thought was some fuckery.
Something about you're going to replace Johnny Knoxville.
I don't want to get in trouble on another fucking podcast.
Who's the biggest pussy on Jackass?
I'm glad that you're not an instigator.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant, and I'm incredibly excited to bring out today's guest. He is, without a doubt, one of the greatest entertainers in history.
I agree.
I truly believe this.
Completely agree.
If you're really looking at the amount of hours
Yes.
that you've been entertained
Yes.
and probably dying laughing, I'm trying to find someone who could compete with him.
Yeah, just the breadth of content is nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts play a lot.
Yeah.
Nuts play a huge
That
role
word was
in
used
content.
specifically.
Oh, you're good. You're good at this. You've done this before. I don't want to take any longer. I think it's time to bring out our guest. What do you think, boys?
I think it's time.
Give it up right now. A big flagrant welcome to the one, the only, Steve O. There he is! What do you think about that, man? You think you are one of the greatest entertainers in history?
Oh shit.
He can't
My
say
dumb ass.
it. Yeah, he clearly thinks it. That pause was a confirmation.
We saw those contract negotiations.
The pause was because really whether I'm better than anybody else is not important.
Yeah.
What I think is important is that we look at what I've done, you know, shoving things up my butt, like things that are just like nobody could argue that there's any real
Value?
yeah, right.
No,
You know, there's nothing.
It's not important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not important.
But
However, I subscribe to the belief that many people, if not most people, don't actually enjoy their job. Maybe aren't happy in their marriage. Like, have health concerns. When any number of things stressing them out and interfering with their serenity. And I'm not going to fix any of those problems.
Yeah.
But when people are engaged with my art, they're distracted from them, and that is a huge gift. That is a huge gift, and it is a noble effort on my part. So I'm not important. I am an asshole, but I'm noble, and I like to give myself the title of professional distraction therapist.
Yeah. Like, no, that's would think that is honest and pure.
Thank you.
Amazing distraction. It's hard to look away.
Yeah.
When you are doing your thing. Do you consider it art?
Sure. And let me say too, the distraction therapist is a very secondary title. My primary title is attention whore. Because that is what drives me in every decision that I make.
Really?
Every action that I take.
You want the attention.
It's just it's in my DNA. It's at my core. It's all I care about is look at me.
Why?
There's
we're going Oprah today.
Oh, yeah.
How was your childhood?
You know,
Were you molested?
I'm not aware that I was molested.
Not aware. You were knocked out.
Right. But
Cosby Show extra.
you don't have to be Sigmund Freud to guess that neglect from my parents play a role. Not to disparage my parents, but my father was a wildly successful corporate businessman.
Yeah, Pepsi, right?
He was the president of Pepsi Cola in all of Brazil when I was 6 months old, which is why
What's
after
good,
being born
Shay?
in England,
Yes.
I moved to Brazil at 6 months old.
I saw that, yeah.
Spoke my first words in Portuguese because I was raised by live-in maids.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, mom and dad weren't around a whole lot.
Yeah.
I also grew
What was mom doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, mom, on my mom's side of the
You didn't learn a lesson, you know.
on my mom's side of the family, it never skipped a generation. Not once. On my mom's side of the
That's why you're
family,
sober,
yeah.
100%.
Well, it's not necessarily why, because I'm the only person on my mom's side of the family.
Oh shit! What you sipping on?
Everybody
Light or
else
dark?
literally is already dead from causes related directly to alcohol.
Jesus.
Cirrhosis of the liver, like, you know, this and that. It's all.
Are you Native American or something?
No, I just have.
English, actually, which is second.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but
Right.
they're
Now,
Built for that.
true.
that doesn't include my generation.
Gotcha.
But my mom, her brother, her sister, her mother, her father, all the way up to as far as we even know, everybody was alcoholic and, you know,
Jesus.
a lot of suicide and drugs and stuff like that. So that perhaps plays a little bit of a role. And I grew up in 5 different countries.
I was going to ask that exact question. You're moving around a lot.
Right.
Was it easy to fit in by just doing crazy shit and people are like, I like that guy?
Yeah.
I wish it was the case, but in reality, my acting out for attention, like, really did not work well for me in grade school.
Really?
I was like, yeah, everyone check it out. Like, dude, I remember in 3rd grade, like, getting everybody to gather around in the cafeteria and just, like, unscrewing a salt shaker and just, like, like, which you would think would be pretty awesome, but nobody thought it was cool. It was like, oh, weird, creepy, you know?
Brazil?
That was in Miami. And then in England, in 5th grade, and I love this story, but I remember it so well. Like, 5th grade, you're 10 years old, and I had, like, one of my last baby teeth, like, where I could just sense that it was starting to come loose, and I knew at that point that if you rip
Tang?
out the baby tooth,
See, I'm a darkie. I like darks.
it's just gonna bleed like
Like,
crazy.
especially a good brandy. Not a
I
bourbon.
noticed
I like a
this,
good
and I go
brandy.
into my 5th grade Spanish class, and I just have this plan. So I immediately go and sit down next to the prettiest girl in the class, which otherwise I never would have done. Before sitting down, I say to this girl, I don't have to be in class today. I can leave whenever I want. And, you know, she's thinking like, okay, weird, creepy, you know? And then I sit down, the class starts, and I just rip out this tooth, like, super violent, and all the blood comes. And with, like, a mouthful of blood, I raise my hand and say to the teacher, like, you know, I'm bleeding, I gotta go to the nurse. And the teacher says, like, go. And I stand up, I turn to the girl, I go, told you so. And I'm just, like, running through the halls of the school, like, so proud of myself, just, like, you know, gallivanting around. And that's just another example of how my acting out
Oh,
for
son of a
attention
bitch.
did not win over my peers. Like nobody. I actually had a 6th grade report card where the actual comment that the teacher wrote, my homeroom teacher wrote, Steve is desperate for the approval and like the affection and approval of his peers, but everything he does seeking this
Paul, nah. I mean, yeah.
Seems to have the opposite effect. So that was the dynamic. I just turned everybody against me.
I just like Brandy's.
Very not successful in.
Well, is that the beauty of Jackass? Is like all these guys that were all misfits in the world kind of found a group of people that they all got along with and kind of were understood by?
Later in life, it worked out very well for me. Yeah. And that is a great dynamic to Jackass. But to answer the question...
Which you're a very big part of, and maybe the biggest part of. And it'd probably be nothing without you. Just want to mention.
Well, thank you.
And you deserve all the money you have. Because of the numbers, they put up real numbers.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But like for all the moving I did.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, who's funny? You were saying something about you're going to replace Johnny Knoxville. You said you're coming for his spot. That's what you said.
I said nothing of the sort. Yeah. But I did fight pretty hard when the contract negotiations were happening.
How much did you?
I didn't really get shit.
No, how much did you want, though?
Oh, how much did I want?
$5 million.
Yeah, you can drink anything dark, Paul. Now, why is that?
It was, I'm trying to remember. Definitely I wanted more points.
Oh, okay, you wanted back end.
Yeah, I definitely wanted back end. That's always been kind of a model.
Business savant. Look at it.
Yeah, he knows what's going on.
Yeah. And you know, the reality is...
You're the Pepsi of Jackass. Johnny the Coke? Is that what's going on? And you guys are like vying for the top spot?
I'm more of the lemon.
Take that, Johnny!
I mean, there is no war.
Sure.
You know, there is no war. Yeah. But the whole attention whore in me, the look at me, and Knoxville's always been like such like a big brother, you know, and the Jackass director Jeff Tremaine's always been like this demented father figure, you know, and like Spike Jonze, who's also one of the he's just been this like godlike figure, you know, and like these guys, their opinions.
I was about to say, what in the fuck am I surrounded by?
Approve of you, and you know, like you always want like the you know, that's what it's like. That's what it's like. Yeah. So going into that, everything that I was fighting for, I mean, really what I wanted was just for them to acknowledge, like, hey, you know, Steve-O, for the last 10 years,
God damn, what's good, Ron? God damn, down there $240 off of Paul? Sheesh.
You didn't get the points or the love?
I didn't get shit. But in hindsight, it was, I mean, and up to that point in my career with Jackass, I had never once even countered an offer. It was always on every season of the TV show, every one of the movies. It was always merely an exercise in me finding out what they were willing to give me and accepting it, you know? And that had eaten at me, and I just thought, man, I never stood up for myself. I never fought for more, and I wanted to do it differently with this last movie. And in doing so, I've now had that experience. So I've scratched that itch. It didn't get me anywhere. But, you know, I'm glad that I don't have to spend the rest of my life wondering what it would have been like to fight for myself. Yeah. And now I know. And
it's not worth it, you're saying?
It's really not. And in the case of Jackass, I'm not saying it's not worth it to fight for yourself.
Is Johnny like a ruthless businessman?
And, I mean, the collective of Dick House Productions, which is what it is. Yeah. They're really intense businessmen, but they're also absolute geniuses, you know?
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so much fun watching it. I think the first time I
shit, yeah, like, New Year's drunk is a different type of drunk.
Y2K tape came out, and I remember me and my friends, like, for a summer, trying to, like, tie a leash on a bee after we froze it.
Oh my God.
Like, all these...
They did that.
Yeah, they did all these amazing pranks. It was so funny. And then obviously obviously Jackass came on, and then it was just so entertaining. You could not look away, and you were this fucking superstar on it. And Johnny's really stolen your look. I feel like he's starting to speak like you. He got teeth even. He's coming for you, bro. He's coming for your shit, dude.
I don't know that Knoxville's teeth aren't real. If they're not, he got them a long fucking time ago, because I don't think they've changed. Have they?
No.
They've not. I mean, dude, like, I can't take anything away from Knoxville or Dick House, and I'm glad that I tried to fight for myself. I'm happy that I had the experience.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, and if there are any future Jackass
took it long
projects,
enough.
I'm never going to bother with that again, because the reality is I have worked hard enough to set up all these other different revenue streams. So the movie comes out and it's an engine driving all of my other revenue streams. So I might have the same exact contract as any number of the other guys on Jackass, but I get more out of it because
100%.
I've got other stuff set up.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a shot, yo. You guys heard that?
What was it?
Shot.
What was it?
Yo, I got other stuff set up, so I might get more out of it than these other guys. The other guys, he didn't even say their names.
But you're right. A lot of dudes.
I don't want to get in trouble on another fucking podcast.
No,
Like,
everything's fine.
Johnny, he just got a brand new website.
He did. Let's check out Johnny's new website.
Steve to compete with Johnny's new website.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that Johnny constantly does. I feel like if he I feel like if he just finally just quit that shit and just let you be great, the great guy that you are, then everything would be fine. But yeah, let's go check out his website.
You want to see it? Okay.
this is JohnnyKnoxville.com.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Sounds like it would be Johnny Knoxville's website.
Yeah, I'm over 18. Let's check it out.
Oh, you have to be 18 to enter. Okay. Well, those are penises in there coming on Johnny Knoxville's hair, changing the color of it to gray. It's gray hair now. I think that. Wow. And now it's a guy with balls like a pit bull.
And a cavernous asshole.
Now we're inside the asshole for anybody who's not seeing it. Oh,
Sure.
wow. Okay. And it seems like all you can buy on Johnny Knoxville's website is Steve O'Hunt. Is this an elaborate prank?
It's
Is it like Johnny Knoxville? Is this watching right now?
it's a high-level prank war that we did engage in fairly recently.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now-
And when we being my team,
Yeah.
the Steve-O team, when we looked up JohnnyKnoxville.com, we somehow found it to be available for purchase. And I bought it. And I'm the proud owner of JohnnyKnoxville.com, and I would love to encourage everyone to go and see this incredible thing that I have.
You have t-shirts that are just JohnnyKnoxville.com as your merch.
Yeah, I went into Johnny Knoxville's butthole, and all I got was this dirt.
Why did you swallow cum?
Wait, why did I swallow cum? Okay, which time? I think what you're talking about is on.
Holy ass! See,
He doesn't like that white boy fun.
And you guys have a lot in common. You both.
Definition of white boy.
Yes, 100%. But you guys both went to jail in Sweden. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
That's great.
But I want to hear about the cum swallow.
Yeah,
You've done it.
Curious feel about it.
I mean, actually, it ties directly into how and why I went to jail in Sweden, because
I feel like what happened when you're in jail.
in 2001, it was 2001 when Jackass was brand new on TV. I packed up my car and
What I'm watching, I am watching
And when I got to LA,
Um,
Chris Pontius and I had a competition.
Flagrant.
Who could stay homeless for the longest. He was living out of his car. I was sort of living out of my car. Our objective was to each night find a different loose woman to spend the night with, and just avoid ever getting our own place. I lost the competition in very short order because I was a drug addict and really needed a place to hole up and do drugs. But for a time there, we were both staying at this one girl's house, and
Both of you sleeping with her?
no, and she was out of town. We were watching the house for her. We slept with we brought two different chicks to the house. So we're watching this girl's house. She had a boyfriend, and she also had a dog. I think the dog was her boyfriend's dog. So I humped this Danish chick in.
I'm not on the
in
TV.
her
That's
bed,
the camera
right?
itself.
And I get done as I used to do with my condom. I took it off, tied it in a knot, and twirled it around, twirled it around, and I threw it on the floor. Okay. Thought nothing of it. I went outside to the living room. I'm smoking a cigarette, and I see the dog. This 10-pound Boston Terrier goes just running into the room, and I think, Then when I walk into the room, the fucking condom's not on the floor anymore. And I'm thinking, oh no, what's happened? So I'm gonna vomit. So I'm like, the worst thing I can possibly imagine is that this dog has picked up the condom and taken it for a victory lap around the apartment and just dropped it somewhere where
Finally.
the
Shit, I
boyfriend's
can
gonna
get rid of that
find
damn
it.
weapon.
So he's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, what the fuck is there a condom doing in my girlfriend's room, And also a bad possibility was the dog swallowing the condom and it getting wrapped up in its intestines and killing the dog. So I'm freaking out. And for the next
not
few
close.
days,
That's
I'm
like I
just
said.
doing
That's the
drugs,
camera
staying awake and
itself.
just trying to follow this fucking dog around. Trying to follow this dog everywhere.
That's why you're doing the drugs. Stay awake. See where this dog shit. Get my number. Yeah.
I ended up passing out after a bender, and when I woke up, I found a little pile of dog poo, and it was so beautiful. This one log of dog poo just morphed into the actual condom.
Oh shit.
It's totally still intact. And I grabbed my video camera and I grabbed my video camera, I filmed it, and in filming it, I picked up, I pinched the ring of the condom and lifted it up in there, and it just crackled, and as it became fully hanging, the piece of dog poo was just sticking out sideways, and the whole condom with the load fully intact. And like more than filling up the reservoir tip of the condom. Yeah. And it was just the most, I called it the poop rubber. And it was, but the thing was that inspired an idea where I thought, okay, well, if a dog can swallow a condom, plus I kind of if you think about it, I'd sort of sodomized the dog.
You came in the dog.
Yeah, I came in the dog. Yeah. In spot. And,
its mouth, actually.
Whatever you call it. I made it airtight. And, so I thought that I kind of owed it to the dog. If the dog, so I decided that I owed it to the dog, I owed it to myself, that I should swallow a condom myself. So,
to make it even.
right.
Yeah.
And if the dog can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And so my first inspiration for this idea when I was
You have
on
an
tour.
odd definition of payback. Like if I loan you $20, you just pay me $20. You know what I mean? You don't need to suck someone's dick.
So I go over to Europe and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a bit called the International Drug Smuggler. I'm going to put a bunch of weed into a condom, tie it in a knot. I'm going to swallow it in one country, fly to the next country and shit it out, open it up and smoke it. That's where I got in trouble in Sweden, because I had swallowed this condom in Norway. I bragged to the press about how I thought I might die of intestinal strangulation because it's been over 6 days and it's still not coming out. Maybe it's blocking up my intestines.
Yeah.
Who knows? The cops read about it in the newspaper. And they arrested me after I shit out and smoked it all. But still, I spent 5 days in jail in Sweden. And I made that a bit in my last multimedia comedy special. But each bit in my last multimedia comedy special, there was an old story I wanted to pay off with a new stunt. So I did another condom stunt. I asked my buddy Chris Pontius to come over to my house while my dad was there. Go into the bathroom, put a condom on, and jack off into a good, healthy load, and then come out and hand it to me in front of my dad, so I could say, Dad, that's real condom, in this condom tied in a knot, and then I swallowed that.
Was he finally proud of
He's proud of.
Was that the inspiration for
I mean, I definitely swallowed a hot load. It was just... He flew it and handed it to me. He literally handed it to me within like a minute of blowing that load.
Do you think Eddie got on the outside?
God.
Like, he didn't get the... All you're worried about is the outside? Well, yeah.
I don't think anything
I don't mind the inside part, but I think a little bit might have dripped on the outside. What is going on?
Find the inside part?
But the dog, it went through the dog, it's gonna go through you.
No, that's covered by, this is a different condom than his
Different
boy.
condom.
His boy came in.
But it's inside the condom. None of the cum is actually touching it.
Condom, you just swallow that shit.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not Steve.
Like, I think that, I don't think any condom was past the knot. So, no, I don't think anything was on the outside.
You don't even know.
I don't think because you're nutting in it, right? And then you're taking it off, and a little bit is left of the tip.
Maybe.
And there might have been. Yeah, I think you have.
But maybe I directly, ingested my bro's cum. I love Chris Pontius. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, now you want to get really ready to barf.
I don't know if I do, man.
Yeah, I do.
Here we go.
Let's go. Keep going.
I think I'm ready to barf. The thing is that I'm now a much healthier guy. I take better care of myself. Back in 2003 in Sweden, it took more than 6.5 days. But this time, when I swallowed Chris Pontius's hot load, it came out in like 12 hours or something. Less than 24 hours, I shit out this condom full of cum.
Yeah.
And I went running upstairs. My dad was still staying in my house. Dad, check it out. It already came out. And so I had it, and I saved it. Then when I actually taped the special, I invited my dad out onto the stage with Chris Pontius. I unpacked this actually shit-covered, cum-filled condom, which I had shit out, and it's all brown and fucking... And I said, Dad, I'm swallowing it again. It was, I swallowed it again. I mean, yeah, it's tough to shit something out and not have any shit on it. And I want to give credit for that idea to Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, really?
I brought
Tony, man.
Fuck you, Tony. Fuck you, dog.
I had a draft of the show because, I kept cutting it all together with the multimedia. And I had a draft. I was getting ready to tape the special. And I brought Tony Hinchcliffe over.
Oh, of course.
To get notes.
I mean, it's Steve-O. I was expecting it.
Me swallow the condom from my dad. And I think I said I'd still have it. He goes, dude, swallow it again on stage in the special. I was like, I think that might be too much.
No.
That might be too much, but I'm in.
Okay, anything you said no to.
Yeah, I want to know what you'll say no to at this point.
What's the prank that you said, no, I'm not doing?
Are you asking that because the last video I put on my YouTube channel is actually called 10 Stunts I Backed Out of?
No.
You didn't know that?
Guys, go check out his YouTube channel. Turn this podcast off right now. I just want to know one.
Well, the one that's well publicized was the toy car up the butt, which I backed out of.
Why? It's a little toy car.
When I told my dad in 2002...
He didn't say no strongly enough?
he said, oh no. Which was different. I could hear the disappointment in his voice, and I just thought I can't do that to
How
my
big a
dad.
toy car?
Matchbox. We couldn't say Matchbox for...
You wouldn't just put a Matchbox car up your butt?
Yeah.
It started out as a flip phone.
That's a little crazy.
It started as a flip phone, but that wasn't logistically realistic, so they changed it to a Matchbox car.
Yeah.
And
that's where you said no. You
Right,
took
it's
a hot load,
well,
but not a Hot Wheels.
I probably would have said no to swallowing a hot load in 2002 as well. You gotta understand the bar has consistently gone up and up.
Yeah.
Back then, in 2002, the bar was sufficiently low that it was too much.
But that is what happens, right? It's like you guys do these things and you have to up it every single time so you can't do the same pranks. And now you're just putting yourself in potential danger.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, my new tour is, it's called the Bucket List Tour, and good God, did I raise the bar for that.
Yeah, we saw the intro as well.
Yeah, I mean, the intro's not even, like, particularly...
That was great.
I mean, it's crazy, and it was expensive, and I love a good
Would you take a
elaborate...
dick in the butt?
Oh, man, I don't want to give up my creative... I don't...
Would you take a dick in the butt?
Oh my god.
I see, here's the thing
Oh, you ain't heard
about
shit yet. If you think that's too much out of Steve-O, you clearly ain't watched his career.
Here's the thing about my
Tell
creative...
Alex, because it'll be more fun. Not original, though.
The thing about my creative plans
Yeah.
is that I can be pretty comfortable about leaking them out because nobody's fucking stealing my ideas.
There's a whole community stealing that idea.
Right. Well, I mean, now I want to sort of paint a picture here. Like with the bucket list, right? With the bucket list,
Yes.
I got butt-ass naked and jacked off with another man strapped to my back in an airplane. Actually managed to simultaneously ejaculate as I was falling out of an airplane at 15,000 feet.
That
It
seems
was,
fun.
He came too.
it was, he did not come, but,
That's too much. This is fun.
yeah, I had a medical professional.
Yeah, that makes sense. I followed Steve-O since pretty much like the beginning of his career.
Riding a bicycle. Fucking super illegal, super funny. Super
Yeah, there's a
awesome.
lot of shit this man done been
I have
to.
no question. Were you worried about that? Because you're sober.
And
That's
then
kinda
some.
the crazy part of it to me.
Right. It's a very
Crazy.
This guy's a full-blown addict. He's getting anesthesia.
right. I mean, most of the ideas on my bucket list were old ones, and this idea for the general anesthesia
Him doing
bike ride.
general anesthesia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's
Think about
concerned.
anything that he said.
Yeah.
He ate
Yeah.
shit.
No, of this
You're
stunt.
right.
Oh,
You're
this stunt.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're right. Like, it's the most concerning thing for me as a sober guy.
Yeah.
But the original idea on the bucket list was to take on trophy hunters, to promote tranquilizer darts. I thought instead of killing animals, these trophy hunters could use tranquilizer darts, not kill them. And so that inspired me to come up with an idea to line up for a foot race with one of my bros. On your mark, get set, boom, they shoot tranquilizer darts into our butt cheeks.
That's
and then
hilarious.
we sprint for
That's
distance.
so funny.
That's funny.
And whoever makes it,
Super funny.
thank you. Whoever makes it the farthest.
That's so funny.
You know,
Did you do that?
Well, my man Scott Randolph, who's just off camera right over there, I asked him to find somebody who has a tranquilizer dart gun.
Yeah.
And in short order, Scott's good. He tells me, like maybe a day or two later, he says, I got a guy in Alabama. And so we get on the phone with the guy in Alabama, and he's like,
Oh, of course, that's what this
this
supposed to be.
I got it, you know. But
Tiger King.
for sure. But I found out that the drug in the darts is ketamine. You know how you hear about ketamine, like horse tranquilizer? You know, they talk about ketamine, horse tranquilizer. No, that's what it fucking is. Tranquilizer darts are ketamine. And as an addict, I loved ketamine so much. So I'm like, fuck, I can't do it. But I was in this like tug of war because my ambition was now directly at odds with my recovery. And I'm like, I was going crazy. I'm just gonna fucking do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know? But thank God I didn't.
Yeah.
And before I lost my mind, it occurred to me that in sobriety, now 14 years of sobriety, I've
Amazing.
since I got clean and sober, I've had untold fucking surgeries, medical procedures that knocked me out, and I've never relapsed after the general anesthesia. So, to answer your question, I was concerned about it, but much less so about general anesthesia than ketamine.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest pussy on Jackass? Like, who's the guy that you always got to convince to do shit? He's always complaining, he's always whining.
I'm glad that you're not an instigator. I think that...
I love you guys at Jackass. Okay,
Right.
thank you guys very much for all the entertainment.
it's
You're
comedy,
amazing.
guys. It's steak.
Yeah.
I think that
YouTube title.
I describe, or I like to think of, like the characters in Jackass, kind of like superheroes, in that each guy has his own.
Not piss a lot of people
superpower.
off.
You know, like for Knoxville, it's absolutely bulls. That is his superpower.
Bulls?
Bulls. He's just very comfortable in front of
Animal
bulls. Yeah, bulls.
Getting like knocked by like in a bull ring, like a bullfighter, but
He stands in front of
superpower. Just bulls. Nothing's gonna happen. Agree to business or
his superpower is his willingness to stand in front of a bull and let what will be. Yeah, it is
spinning like a rag doll.
I mean, on the last Jackass movie, he got stood in front of a bull, got scooped, and sent into a 1.5 rotation flip where he landed on his head.
Yeah.
Got a brain hemorrhage, broken rib, broken wrist, and a concussion.
Are you guys here? When he's brain bread and he also a concussion.
He had a brain bleed and a concussion.
Yeah. Are you at all worried about? You guys worried about like CT and shit? Do you think that would happen to Bam? I always wondered that it was just concussions and like.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I
Just
don't
needed
know.
that weekly
I don't
damn
know
knock
with
and
the Bam
move.
situation, and but I'm fucking worried about Knoxville's brain. I have been for you know, like he's like if you saw the first Jackass movie when he got knocked out by Butterbean, just the way that he was snoring. When you get knocked out and you're like snoring loudly,
Oh,
like,
the
that's
royal
not
pulse.
good
I was about to
for your
say, why in the
brain.
fuck
And
ain't that shit going up?
Knoxville's had way too many of those.
Yeah. And certain people, they develop CT. And certain people don't, for whatever reason.
Right, I asked Tony Hawk.
Tony knows all about this. He was on the pod.
Yeah,
He was
Tony
breaking
Hawk,
it
he
down.
told you about the test you can get.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a test that you can take for like a predisposition to have Alzheimer's disease, and whether or not you have that plays a big factor.
Be sound good, be sound good, be sound
Tony, I was like,
good.
well, what the fuck do you do if the test tells you it's kind of late in the game
Trash.
now? Like, I don't want to fucking
You
know
don't want to
that.
know. I'm with you. Yeah, I'd rather not know.
Yeah, like when you get to, like I said, like what was your plan if you were positive for the test?
Yeah. You
He's
gotta
like,
do
oh, I
that
didn't have
before
one.
you get into Jackass.
Yeah, because what a shitty spot to be in. Oh yeah, I took the test and.
I'm fine. Bye, guys. No, I really wondered that when I saw this stuff happen with Bam. And again, like, you know, I remember watching the CKY and CKY2K videos, which were phenomenal because they were skate videos, but they were also the prank stuff. And it was just, it was the coolest thing I saw. This was back, I mean, we're older, but this was back with cassette tape. I'm 38.
Okay.
So this is cassette tapes, right? So back in our day, it wasn't like, here's this link. It's, you had to hand your friends a fucking cassette tape and be like, trust me, you gotta watch this.
And he sold like millions of those.
Those were viral as cassettes.
Yeah, going viral back then was super hard.
It was unbelievable. There was two things I remember going viral back then. It was the old man and the Winnebagos.
Faces of Death was pretty good.
Also,
I heard about that.
that was the inspiration for half your shit.
Yeah, the old man and the Winnebago was good. Faces of Death was great.
And it was CKY. And I remember seeing that group, and that group was fucking hilarious. And
I felt it.
And I don't know, something kind of happened where it went from like fun, jovial, silly to a little bit more dark.
On CKY?
No, later in his career.
Right. Yeah.
And I was
mean,
oof.
yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. And Bam was so goddamn genius because in the world of skateboarding, even a die-hard skateboarder just couldn't sit there and watch an entire hour of nothing but skateboard without just going crazy. Yeah. Skateboard videos from the beginning needed some kind of comic relief, something to break up the goddamn monotony of it all. And I knew I wasn't that great at skateboarding. That was like initially what brought me to the video camera, but I was like, you know, like I'm not gonna be a fucking pro skateboarder. I'm not that good, so I'm just gonna dedicate myself to being that comic relief, to doing. So I started showing up in skateboard videos, just not skating. And I was looking for the opportunity to be in other people's skate videos. Meanwhile, Bam didn't give up on skateboarding, did all the comic relief, made his own videos, set up his own distribution.
Yep.
He was so fucking creative, so talented, so entrepreneurial, so much younger, better looking, richer. I fucking was so jealous of him. I mean, unbelievable with his goddamn Lamborghinis and everything. And
He was sponsored by Nike. I remember that. I was like, wait, a skateboarder from rural Pennsylvania.
I remember him being sponsored by Addio shoes. Addio. And he was like
his head in Tony Hawk.
Yeah. I mean, the money that he was making was staggering.
Bro, there was a video where, I forget where this, if it was in the old CKY stuff or it was in earlier stuff with you guys, but they rented a car and got the full insurance on the car, and then lit the car on fire. It destroyed the car.
Okay, I hate to fucking,
do it. He tells us about this story all the time. He's like, bro, it's the best.
I thought it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'm so happy
you just weren't looking closely.
If I find out you didn't drink cum.
I fucking ate cum, dude. But here's the story, and I kind of not mad at him, but like, but there was what happened in that the inspiration for that bit, and apologies to Bam for revealing this if it's not widely out there. It's pretty obvious in the clip, but they were coming home from like a skate session or something, like driving down the road, and like, what the fuck? There's a car over there on fire. Like, so they pulled over. They found a car on fire. They pulled over. They got this footage of the car on fire, and they're like, what are we gonna do with this fucking footage of the car on fire? And Bam was like, he came up with the genius idea to say, let's go rent a car and act like let's go rent a car and say that we paid for the insurance.
That's actually fucking
and then end up with the car blowing up, and this is, you know, you can't be mad at him for that. But the thing is that, like, the car they rented was like a totally different shape. Right.
Dude. Oh wait, are there other things like
there were? CKY was littered with, like say for example when they're kicking the footballs into the cars. Like, you can recognize like every fucking person who gets out of the car after the football's been kicked into it as like one of their family members. Like, you know,
I respect it more now. Yeah. Like, a little part of me is like, wow, you understood production value. You understood how to get around these things and how to, I guess, trick the world out. That is.
I mean, is
Wee-Man really a dwarf? What else is going on that's not real?
Dude, Jackass was very like high on integrity. You know, there are precious few things on Jackass that were manipulated in a deceitful way at all.
Give me, like what?
When I did the butt chug, right? That was completely real. The Jackass number 2, that I put a beer in my asshole. They pour the beer in and chugging. Like, you see that there's no faking that. As I kick my legs, you see the level of beer in the hose lower and lower. It's all going up my ass. But when they took the plunger, right, and like to plunge it, and all this beer comes out of the plunger. Like, that's one thing off camera. They poured a little beer into the plunger.
But where did it go if it was all going up in your ass?
Oh, I shit out a fuck ton of beer too. Yeah. But when he was plunging my beer, like, just what spilled out of the plunger that was poured into it on camera. It's like, it's a very minor thing, but in the world of Jackass and the level of integrity that we always had, like, that's a big deal. Wow. The other thing I know of, BMX Tug of War. They have. They had Ryan sitting on the sofa, the rope tied around him. They do the BMX, you know, and it played in the movie as a split screen. You know, you see like the bike on the one screen, and you see Dunn flying off the sofa on the other. But it was just the logistics.
What's good, Midnight? What you doing up right now?
Like, Ryan wasn't getting pulled off the sofa it wasn't enough to pull him and make him go flying with just the bike.
Yeah.
So that's why it was split screen. They set up, like, the biking, you know, on the one shot, and then on the Ryan Dunn shot, split screen, they just had, like, you know, a bunch of guys, like, pull the so that thing was real.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
they fucking pulled his ass off the stone fucking hard and threw him into a bunch of cacti. So, like, you know, you can't get too mad at that.
Those balls, like, you get hit in the balls a lot. And
Not too bad at all.
You know, as part of my
Fuck, man.
my bucket list tour.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna tell you before is that with all these crazy stunts and like how high level they are, like I'm proud of that it's clever in that the backdrop, like the theme of the show is the implications of me carrying out all of these various stunts.
Oh, you got Shinobi Striker? Hell yeah.
You know, it's
I would have been on that,
That's why in that opening sequence I've got the flowers.
I would have been on that. It's just a couple things I'm about to do on Destiny.
And everything in the show is inspired, and the narrative is throughout is my relationship. So in the show, when I come to the point of so we're getting married, I'm engaged, and you know you can't take that leap without agreeing on the kid question. And neither of us want kids.
Oh, really?
Right. So because fuck kids.
Why? You have the opportunity to be this very present father and right the wrongs that happen to you.
I mean, did I tell you about my mom's side of the family?
Make sure they don't But is that what you're worried about passing on?
I mean, there's a genetic component. There's just the I'm not very bearish on the world.
Right.
Oh, sorry, I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. I'm bearish on the world.
Yeah.
Fuck, my dad would be bummed on that one. But yeah, I just think that the whole disparity of wealth, the rich getting richer, the poor getting poor, the dwindling opportunity. I don't want it on my conscience that I created a fucking person to struggle with all that.
What do you mean dwindling opportunity? Like,
And I had an idea on my bucket list called the Vasectomy Olympics.
also that.
Right. And,
What is this about?
well, when I was...
I just want to let you know you've made probably millions of dollars ingesting cum and like kicking the balls.
That's why he can't have any kids. He's gonna be eating all his cum.
That's right. Yeah, you're just greedy. No, but I'm saying there's so much opportunity. Like if you can exist with what you're doing in America, this doesn't happen outside of America.
Right. Well,
This is the land of opportunity.
my dad, when he heard my plan for the Vasectomy Olympics,
Yeah.
which was initially inspired by a bad joke I heard in 7th grade, which was, what is the definition of macho? A man who jogs home from his own vasectomy. And I didn't give a fuck at the time. I'm 12 years old, but I just wanted to be macho. So I remembered the joke. I grew up with the idea that I was going to get a vasectomy and just do way more than jog and be super macho. But before filming the vasectomy and the stunts, which were epic, that we did afterwards, I knew that I had a finite amount of time to answer the question that you asked, what about your balls? Can you have kids with all of the trauma to the balls? And so I could not pass up the opportunity to go to a fertility clinic and get a sperm count before my vasectomy to answer the question. The average man has roughly 20 to 30 million sperm
Oh,
per
fine.
milliliter of
Goodness
jizz.
gracious.
And I clocked in at 51 million.
There you fucking go.
But they're all dumb.
Dude, it's true. Scott cranked out a load too.
Really?
And I,
What you got, bro?
he was very average on the count, but there are more criteria to the sperm count, which I don't draw a lot of attention to. Like I had a fuck ton of sperm, but they're all swimming sideways.
That'd be a fun stunt.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Here's the other thing too, that I absolutely pay every year to keep that load cryogenically frozen.
Just in case.
Not because I think I'm going to change my mind, but because I've got a fucking idea for that load.
Let's go.
Who's that load going in, bro?
It's not going in anyone. It's going on a plate with...
You're like the Mr. Beast of cum.
Cum content ideas. Right. I mean, dude, like, This idea was inspired by, it was Preston Lacey came up with it. Inspired by an experience we had in Mexico where I took a vial of my beloved ketamine, poured it on a glass table, and dried it out with a hairdryer until it was fully dry, and I scraped it up into a line and snorted it. And Preston said, dude, man, what if you fucking blew a load on the table and dried that and then snorted that? And I thought, wow, it's a great idea, but one load's probably not going to cut it. We're going to need the whole cast to blow a load. And so I want to contribute.
These guys.
No, Alex.
I want to contribute to that
Growing
load.
up, like when you hung out with your friends when you did spring break, did any one of them say like, "Yo, do you guys want to own none on this table? Wait till it dries, and then we just snort it together."
Not waiting until it dries. Hair actually dries. Maybe put it in like a dehydration machine. You need a good process, because that way you're not, that way you can get a good time lapse of the cum drying. It's just so
These
funny
guys.
too, because if you've ever snorted coke, like it lands in the back of your throat, and like.
Most of that or what?
I mean, but just thinking about it here, my synapses are firing. I love it. I love the idea so much. That'll be for my next tour. But yeah, okay.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna dodge the question though.
Butt sex.
Right. Right. The bucket list tour is very clever because everything's cohesive and has a narrative. So, I've as painted into a corner as I felt the bucket list tour left me. Like, where am I going to go from here? I have figured out. My wheels have been turning. And for my next tour, which would be called Steve-O's Gone Too Far tour.
Transition.
Close.
You wouldn't cut off your dick,
I'm
though.
not going to cut off my dick, but I'm absolutely getting fake tits. Right. I don't want to give away too much, but
This guy.
What size? And where are you putting them?
Bounties. I'm about to say bounties right now, and then I got
because there's
Up, down on your back.
a couple more weeklies.
the director told me to get
Like
them
a
on my
camel.
back.
Like a camel, but up, down like that.
I know, but as I told our Jackass director, that
No, I
will
didn't.
limit me in how much potential there is for bits to use with the tits. If they're on my back, it's like there's no.
Well, you're definitely going to get cummed on your tits, so wouldn't you rather that on your back? There's no way you're not going to have one of your boys come on your tits.
That's not an idea that I had on the list, but
Get a bigger bucket, my friend.
it's.
I get a
it's
bigger
good.
bucket.
Now,
I'm weak.
here's like.
Wait, can you add to that? Can you get the Brazilian butt lift as well?
Honestly, BBL is.
You gotta go BBL with them.
I am not ruling that out as a possibility, but and fortunately I have until next year to really make
Map
it
this out.
masterful.
Yeah.
To write it.
How big are the
Dude, my last podcast guest was the botched plastic surgeon, Dr.
wow.
Terry Dubrow.
Okay.
He says I can go D.
So you can go C then.
What's
If
that?
he says you can go D, you could probably go C.
C is smaller than D.
I know. Isn't he the shitty surgeon?
No. I'm
He's
going.
had sex with one woman. It's okay. He
I'm
doesn't know
going,
anything
dude,
about
this Dr. Terry Dubrow podcast was the most fucking fascinating shit ever, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking about like what's gonna take to break one, and he's like, you can get your implants with extra saline, like way extra saline. So if you do get punched by like a professional fighter in the titty, it would rupture.
And you want that.
Well, come on. and we worked out so much creative with this guy. Like, I was like, if we got like a Capri Sun straw, God, pop it in there and fucking actually take a sip.
Oh, you filled it up with Capri Sun. Yo, exactly. Can we decide what goes in the tits?
I did speak with him after that. Yeah, we can at the very least dye the saline, if not just fucking use Capri Sun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fire.
So now I want to.
You don't get sepsis? Or?
Now, and here, maybe. Here's the thing, what's so deeply important to me
Yeah.
is that in taking this from sort of the Jackass format to like the live comedy format, where like it's actually a comedy show and each bit gets paid off by the video clip.
Right.
Now, unlike a Jackass movie where everything just goes in the bag, like, for my comedy show, I really needed to make sense and to be clever.
Yeah.
The way the bucket list is motivated by my relationship with my girl, I'm picturing that the Gone Too Far tour is motivated.
Can I ask you a question? No disrespect at all.
Yeah.
What size breasts does your girl have?
She went from the committee to legacy.
You're gonna have big tits. This motherfucker's crazy, bro. You just want pierced and shit. Trying on her clothes, she's fucking hating.
Is that not like a legit joke that like it's like faced with a man having fucking legit fake tits?
Yeah.
The more embarrassing thing would be the nipple ring.
Yeah, that's way game. If you had a belly button ring, we're all going, something's off with Steve, bro.
But
how are you guys gonna bone? Have you thought about it? Does she like tits? Have you asked your wife? She's your wife now, right?
We're not married yet.
But you wear the wedding.
Why is a woman supposed to indicate she's taken and not a man? It's just misogynistic and bullshit. This is an engagement ring.
Thank you. All I heard was you say, I drink a lot of cum. I drink
Okay. Oh shit, that's right.
Right.
What was the ring thing you just said? I didn't understand.
It's an engagement ring. Out of respect to my girl, I wear an engagement ring to indicate that I'm taken.
Oh, but she also has an engagement ring.
Correct.
So we believe in rings.
Yeah, but only when you get engaged. You only wore a ring when you got married.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I would wear an engagement ring. Buy me one. Step up.
But
It's too late now.
socially, we don't do it.
When we get
Step it up, ladies.
when we get married, I'll
That's
fill it.
sexist to us.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
wait, you're filling in with what?
There's a little ridge there, and then like the actual wedding band.
Oh, that's sick.
Well, that's
Fill
fire.
that in. Yeah.
That's fire, bro.
Thanks, man. I believe in clever shit.
I know you do.
Right, and so for Gone Too Far, the clever premise of the show, what ties it all together, is confronting middle age. Right? I'm fucking gonna be 48 years old in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like there's a arguably limited amount of time for me to be running around doing this Jackass shit.
Yeah.
And so instead of being like, oh man, is it creepy to watch me do this shit? Like, I'm just gonna take it on. I'm gonna share my experience confronting middle age with everybody. I'm gonna make the point that I was personally fucking horrified to look into the mirror and discover that not only am I developing man boobs, but that I've actually developed distinct dimples underneath them. I actually have underboob.
No, that is so hot.
I have developed, and it's happening, and I fucking like it, and I am lashing out at the god who's fucking bestowed man boobs on me, and if fucking God is so insistent that I have man boobs, then fucking hey, let's go. So every bit in the Gone Too Far is inspired by confronting middle age, which brings me to butt sex.
When we do butt sex, is one butt sex very badly with you. Your butt sex. I think...
This water?
Yeah, I got you. I think, it'd be really interesting to see...
Oh, there is water in there.
What you guys do as you get older, because it almost adds another layer of innocence. Like, you know how, like, what was it, the Mona Lisa just got cake thrown on it? And some guy dressed up as a woman.
I didn't click on that one, but...
It doesn't matter. The guy dressed up as an old woman, you would never think anything of an old woman.
Right.
You guys have done this before where, like, I think Knoxville dressed up as a guy.
Right.
Grandpa, but real life.
Exactly. And, like, you get to get away with so much shit. Like, the older you get, as long as you guys are still wild, you're seeing an older dude do the craziest... Dude, imagine, like, the old guy balls prank, whatever it is in the gym, when it's really you old.
Sure. I mean, I'm no stranger to touching water these days, so you saw the Knoxville website. That's actually my balls.
That's a nice hang.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
For real, dude.
Now, as we went into Jackass 4, I was like legitimately concerned that as an ensemble cast that we're kind of past the point, like age-wise, that it's cute and fun and funny, that maybe we've entered into it's kind of creepy and not funny, you know, for us to be doing all this shit. I was concerned that we're too old as a collective to get away with it and have it be great. Knoxville felt distinctly differently and felt very strongly about it, that the older you get, the funnier it is. And I mean, if we're placing bets, Knoxville's winning. But I've had such personal, like, such a tough time watching, like, documentaries about Buster Keaton. That Stan and Ollie movie. Did you see the Stan and Ollie movie? It was about Laurel and Hardy, and then, like, in their fucking 60s or 70s, like, financially destitute, like, just putting their bodies through this fucking shit. It's just so, like the Judy Garland movie. There's just, there's endless examples of, like, things that put me in a depression, like a bad, fucked up funk. And I just don't want to be that. You know, I don't want to be that. But, like, with the middle-age thing, we're going into butt sex now. I'm at an age, it's part of middle age. You gotta go to the colonoscopy, guys. You gotta go get your prostate checked. You gotta get the finger up the butt. You gotta get the colonoscopy.
You guys have done that, though. That's been on Jackass.
Understood. But nobody has gone to their colonoscopy doctor and asked, how big can I go down there? What can I fucking fit in there? You know, and every
full fist colonoscopy.
Yeah, just grab it yourself.
I mean, now, Dr. Terry DeBrun, he told us about, before he was a plastic surgeon, he worked in, like, in ERs. He had a drawer. They called it, like, the glory drawer. Something where they kept the items that people had shown up with in their rectum that they couldn't get out. And when they operate to get these items out of people's rectums, they actually make the incision in the front.
They have to, I assume. It's a huge thing. Like the guy that had the light bulb in there, you pull that out of his ass, it shatters.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And dude, I've heard about like entire swirls and shit. Like it's not uncommon. Like I dare say every fucking hospital has had people show up with shit up their butt that they couldn't get out, and it goes in the drawer, the glory drawer. So I haven't had this conversation yet. You know, I will document everything meticulously. But I'm way confident that when I ask the colonoscopy doctor how big can I go putting shit up my butt, that knowing what I know about the glory drawer, the colonoscopy doctor is going to be like, dude, no bueno, not happening. Don't do it. He's going to probably aggressively talk me out of trying to put large objects up my butt. How big you think you can go? Well, I will not entertain any negativity from the colonoscopy doctor. I will immediately go for a second opinion from a gay porn star. And I think I'm going to get a wildly different prognosis. So I've been thinking about what goes up my butt, what's my highest goal. And? I almost got political. I thought I could maybe take a gun off the streets, melt it down. Melt it down. Get the whole gun up there. And
Americans would give back their guns if they could jam it on the Steve-O's ass. Do you think that's possible? Could you unite America? Yes.
I liked the idea of the whole show representing like a grand journey to the gun shop, where the guy shows up with a huge dick tattooed on his forehead, huge tits, just fucking talking about thinking about shooting himself, and then let me buy a gun, you know? Like, if anybody's sold that guy a gun, that's a problem, no matter what country you live in. And, you know, I just don't want to go political, so my mind went elsewhere. Okay. Now, here's what I've
It's funny that political is your line.
Too much division in this country.
Right, I don't need to alienate my audience.
Distraction therapy, though, I got you.
Right.
I got you.
So, what I've been thinking about is a clear, transparent PVC pipe. Okay, I would be able to make the end of it, make the end of it have it be a cone.
Yeah.
You know, like a cone.
I know a cone.
To go in. To go in. Now, I mean, who knows? You can go any, any diameter.
But how
right?
deep do you think you got?
I think that I'd be pretty good, and if I can just get
you're shallow, dude.
If I can get the PVC pipe, like firmly, deeply in, and just sticking out a little bit, so that it's not gay. Right? I'm not gay, dude.
Yeah, nothing's touching you. Yeah, if you just swallow the PVC pipe, like if it goes in there and it envelops it, that might be a little bit gay, but as long as it's sticking out a little bit.
Do you have to go so big that you know it won't feel good? You know what I mean? Otherwise,
it's not gonna feel good.
We don't know.
Hey, I mean, if you go the right size, you're just a guy with tits who likes getting stuff in the
Right. Full discovery.
But isn't it clever to really have every bit motivated?
Yeah.
I'm really that's my deal. I wanna raise the bar for crazy, and I wanna actually
I want to create narrative.
I want to create a narrative that's clever.
I think that's smart. I think it's like what you said Bam noticed with the skate videos was it's hard to just watch a guy do the same grind or the same trick over and over again. Let's break it up. What you're seeing about the prank videos is, hey, it's hard to watch this prank. Why don't you create a narrative so we can follow this whole journey? Give me a reason to tune in for
so we can be invested in it, right?
100%.
Elevated.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked about that.
I mean, that's great. The PVC thing is berserk.
Yeah,
I feel like you're doing this just to prove a point to your wife. You're like, I can take a PVC pipe. Do you just want to argue, bro? Like, what is... Is this the ultimate prank? It's against your
I think you're just taking away the arguments. He's good.
I don't want to hear it.
Because, the way that I picture...
I'm sorry, PVC pipe. Can you add, something at the bottom that creates a seat and then just have a meal at a diner? And then go to a bar, have a drink, but there's a whole...
Like the fake levitating guy.
That's awesome.
So this is what pitch meetings are like in Jackass. Way more
The idea that middle age with the prostate, the colonoscopy, I picture it being the colonoscopy doctor and then the gay porn star. I imagined that I might develop a relationship with the gay porn star that was close enough that I would feel good about having the gay porn star actually blow a load into the PVC pipe. But that was too much for my lady. Wow. She said, you can't have someone blow a load in your ass. And I said, you're right, babe. Hopefully, I can get Chris Pontius to just usher his beautiful flaccid wiener into the PVC pipe.
That's what I'm asking. I have to say that if the dick goes into the PVC pipe, it's not really touching.
Right.
But there is a dick inside.
There's a dick, and you said that was your first question, was precisely, would you take a dick in the ass? And that's my answer.
With some kind of almost.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, safe sex.
When is this coming out?
I mean, dude, I'm not going to start putting it together until next year.
I want in. Not the PVC pipe, but
I'm rocking the bucket list tour for the rest of this year.
I want to help out with the prank.
What, dude? Thanks, man. I love it.
I want to help out with the prank, 100%. And it has to deal with comedy. And heights.
I mean,
dude, I'm terrified of heights.
I want to get mileage.
I don't want to do any of the pranks. I just want to be there to cheer you on and laugh about it.
I want to get mileage out of the tits. That's why it's there's ways to obscure a view of my shoulders up so that someone walks into, like, whatever the case may be,
And
and
then
just
they find
tits
out.
around. Like, I was thinking maybe like a massage table, and I've got like a towel over my face, and I'm just laying there with the tits out. And then the massage person comes in to give me a massage, and they're like, how do they react, you know?
Yeah.
There's, we bought a smart car. It's just for no purpose but to crash it into a brick wall to make sure the airbags work, which is known as an airbag test. But in my case, it's going to be a fun bag test. You know, it's clever.
I like how you think about these stunts. Is stunt the right word for them?
Stunt's absolutely the right word.
Okay, because I don't want to misuse it because, you know, in comedy, people are like, how are your skits doing?
Yeah, right.
People don't know the exact thing.
Of
So,
course.
okay, I like how you think about the stunts kind of like how we think about jokes.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
it can't just be punch me in the face while videotape it. It's like, what is clever about
Right.
I want you to punch me in the face.
Right.
What is the best way for you to punch me in the
How do we
face?
set it up?
Yes.
What's the setup?
Yes.
What's the beginning and middle of it? What's the motivation?
But do you do that because it's more challenging, or do you do that because you're like, I need to elevate this art form?
Both. It's just that the challenge is to elevate the art form.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, that's where it's at. And I genuinely care about earning my place in the comedy circuit, if you will. You know, like, I've worked really hard for a long time.
Yeah.
I did the comedy club grind for 11 years.
Yeah.
Before the show, we were talking about a 3-year comic, a 5-year comic, you know? At this point in, like, legit stand-up comedy, I'm now a 12-year comic.
Yeah.
So, you know...
That's what you gotta do. You gotta put in the hours on stage.
Right. And so to go out there and say, hey, I'm gonna mix comedy and stunts, like, it can't be a hodgepodge, man. It's, you know...
What do you think about, like, YouTube being this destination for stunts? And these, I mean, you look at, like, the Nelk Boys, you look at all these groups of people who probably grew up watching you guys.
Sure.
And then have gone on to have tons of success doing it. Are you looking at this going, wow, we inspire a generation? Or are you looking at, like, they're jacking our shit? Is it love? Is it
Either.
admiration? Is it...
Neither. And what a fascinating dynamic, man. I had, like, the run with Jackass up until the 3rd movie, which came out in 2010. And I was newly sober in 2010. I was starting with the comedy in 2010. And the comedy was in its infancy. I had no idea if it was going to work, but I was just giving it hell and trying my best. And I was very unsure about that. Come 2013, one gig I had on TV I got fired from. And Knoxville was making the Bad Grandpa movie, you know, under the Jackass name, Jackass Presents, and it was like, wait a second, dude, they're making a Jackass movie without us, you know, like, we got Timberlaked. Now I'm the...
It is currently
you know, I'm fucking...
1:47.
You know, like... Dude,
What time is it where you are?
The darkest fucked up year. Like, I was, you know, I was really in a fucking funk. And at one point in that year, some guy, a manager, called me into a meeting to talk about managing me. And this guy, 2013, we were talking a decade ago, and he says, dude, it's all about the digital space. You gotta have a YouTube channel, you gotta have a podcast, you gotta be cranking on social media, that's where it's at. And I was like, listening to this, and I thought, okay, I'm hearing what he's saying, but it sounds like he's describing me doing a bunch of work to create all this great content by myself, and he's not describing he does shit. And the proposal is that he gets 10% of everything that I do. And on top of that, I felt like, dude, like, I've been in, like, #1 box office movies. Like, I'm like, you know, like, it felt like such a depressing demotion to be like, now I'm uploading YouTube videos, you know, like, and the fact was that I was just in such a fucking dark, depressed spot, that I just, to keep my sanity, I just fucking, and my other buddy was like, dude, I'm killing it in YouTube, like fucking, you know, he taught me how to edit.
Yeah.
And now I no longer needed any fucking permission from any fucking corporate asshole to allow me to do something. Now I just do whatever the fuck I want.
Sir.
So back then, that was 2013 when I launched my YouTube channel.
Yep.
And that was where, like, I did not think that there was any, like, real money in what I was doing. I thought it was kind of embarrassing, but I was just doing it to keep myself sane.
Yeah.
And then over the years since then, we've seen the emergence of the Logan Pauls, the fucking Nelk Boys. I just watched a video, the title of it was something like the influencer bubble is gonna pop, you know? And it was like, it said that these fucking YouTube people are now making as much or more than bona fide fucking A-list stars and fucking and like top athletes.
Way more.
And
top athletes is close.
Yeah.
But as far as like bona fide movie stars, like the years of the $20 million movie star done. Like maybe Tom Cruise for like a Top Gun and he's getting points in the movie, that kind of stuff. But like nobody's paying Will Smith $20 million for a movie anymore. They're just not bringing in the money.
Right.
So those numbers going way down. And the YouTubers, I mean, you look at like Jake, you look at Logan, look at what they're bringing in. Obviously they have other endeavors, but like they're making big fucking money. YouTube is television now.
Yeah.
Back in the day when we grew up and we were watching Jackass, even before that, you just turned on the TV and whatever came on, you kind of watched.
Right.
That's YouTube. There's still the paid channels, still the HBOs and the streaming networks, the Netflix, etc. Those things still exist just like they existed back then. We have very specific content that you'll tune in for. But in terms of just popping on the TV and leaving something on, that's YouTube. TV's fucking done. And I don't know, for me, I just want to be where the people are, and I think that that's what you realize very early on.
I mean, dude, I'm so fucking thankful that,
doesn't it feel better to have your destiny in your own hands?
Dude, 100%. It's like, I took control of my own shit. And dude, that in 2013, man, I was in that fucked up funk. And at the time, the biggest people in the prank space on YouTube were Roman Atwood and this guy Vitaly. Yeah. And I collaborated with both of them. Double Upload, where I did a thing on their channel. They drove all their traffic to my channel. Like, it was like a quadruple fucking collab in every direction. Yeah. And the day that I launched my YouTube channel, I went from 0 subscribers to like way over 100,000.
Wow.
And within like 2 or 3 days, my lawyer's calling up saying that like big agencies want to get you in for a meeting.
Of course.
You know, like I had no agent, and you know.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I again have no fucking agent. Like,
but you don't need it now.
Yeah, I don't.
You do everything you want to do. You create the things you want to create.
Right.
If people want to buy in, they buy in. If they don't, you just do it for the people that already love you and they want to see what you have to do. It's very simple. It's the best way to create.
Right.
You just have to, I don't know if you struggle with this. Some people struggle with this idea, especially if they're older. Like, they validate themselves through, like, the network names and the brand names. So they're like, well, if I'm not in a movie, then I'm not doing something. When they realize that, like, the kids that watch you, they never saw you on TV, bro.
Right.
They only know YouTube. YouTube is TV to them.
Sure.
Matter of fact, if you're like, yeah, I have this movie Jackass out there, like,
dude,
who gives a fuck? These kids don't go to Zoom classes. They don't go out to the movie theater anymore. Right. It's a new generation.
As an example, a dear friend of mine has a stepson who just graduated from this, like, ultra elite high school, which Kanye West's kids go to. He raps about their high school. Maybe they're not in high school, but the same school. Like,
Sierra Canyon?
Exactly it.
Yeah.
Sierra Canyon. And
fuck you, Savala. Nobody give a fuck.
This kid is on LeBron's Instagram page, and like, he's completely unfazed by that. But when he found out that I was collaborating with Steve Will Do It of the Nelk Boys, the kid's fucking head, his head exploded. They're like, dude, you used to be like a fucking run-of-the-mill fucking whatever, and now because of your affiliation with the Nelk Boys, you are the coolest fucking kid in my entire house.
Because the cool thing about now is that the creators are the validators. Back in the day, it was like you had to be on
MTV, you had to be on HBO, and to be one of these channels. Now you could be on the channels, but if it's not hot, it means nothing. You got a show on Netflix, but if nobody's watching it, nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
Like, there are people who have NBC sitcoms right now that you and I don't know are even on.
What? Oh shit.
Right.
So you're an hour behind? I'm about to say, I know I'm late, but you're an hour behind me midnight? Okay then.
I will absolutely agree with you on the network television, but I'm gonna push back on the Netflix piece because with the Netflix, number one, like there's no such thing as a flop because they don't reveal their numbers, and number two, like like when you had your Netflix special, your multi-part special come out, that changed your life, right?
Not even close.
Not even close?
Did less.
Wow.
I did it for boomers. I did it because boomers still need to see the validation.
That's some wind in my sails, bro.
I'm being serious. Like, I did it for people, to be honest, like you. They go, you see me have a Netflix special next to my name, you're like, oh, he's legit.
How do you explain Bert Kreischer?
Bert Bert will tell you this to his face. Bert is a marketing genius, one. Has an amazing live show, two. But three is a viral sensation. It is YouTube that blew him up. He had a Showtime special that he ripped off. If you look at anybody selling tickets right now, none of them are doing it because of Netflix.
Wow.
You look at people really, I mean this. None of them are doing it because of Netflix. None of them are doing it because of HBO. None of them are doing it because of TV. There's a lot of people who have those specials, but they're not doing it. The people who are selling tickets right now are on YouTube. They're releasing specials on YouTube. They have podcasts on YouTube. They're able to build in that space. And the beautiful thing about you having it on YouTube is every time you do something big, it drives people back to your content.
For sure.
There are people that you're going to watch on this thing, and they're going to be like, oh, I didn't even know he had a podcast. Boom, spike.
We haven't mentioned my podcast.
You have a podcast.
It's insane.
But listen, the beautiful thing about YouTube is you don't need to mention shit. YouTube mentions it. They're watching it, and all of a sudden right here, it's like, yo, you might like this.
Right.
And you will say to YouTube, I don't like that. And then the next day it goes, I think you're going to like this. And then I don't like that. And then 3 days later it keeps recommending it, you're like, fine. And then you watch it.
They're going to... Yes and no. But dude, can you give me... my van podcast studio idea is pretty solid.
I love it. I think it's great. You do this podcast out of your van.
And it's called Wild Ride. Yeah, dude. I mean, I like clever, dude. You know, it's in a vehicle, dude. And because I had so much trouble with the idea of jumping on the bandwagon, for years I'd been so annoyed. Countless times, just please don't ask me, will you do my podcast? Please don't ask me. Please don't. Oh, he asked. No, I don't want to do your fucking stupid podcast. Like, no, I don't want to do it. And I just so resisted the idea of asking celebrities, will you do my podcast? I thought, fuck, okay, if I'm going to do this, at the very least, let me say whenever and wherever is most convenient, I will bring the studio to you to make it utterly painless. Hop in, hop out, done, in and out, painless. And it's just a cool gimmick. It's a great angle on it. It makes it a lot easier to ask that annoying question. Yeah,
because everybody has an hour if it's right outside their house.
Yeah, it fits into what I'm already doing. It's easy.
You're filming a movie? Oh, you got an hour that you're going to break down? Boom, we'll do it. I'll drive to you. I'm telling you. I think Logan and them are doing that. They're moving their set around.
Logan, because those guys moved to Puerto Rico to not pay taxes.
They're very smart.
Love that idea.
We moved back to New York so we could pay more taxes. And
this idea.
spend even more money on a studio that we cannot move.
Right.
You have to come here.
Right.
That being said, we have wives.
What did you do during the pandemic?
Yeah. Say again?
What did you do during the pandemic, podcast-wise? Were you on Zoom?
No. We did a couple, but like we had our studio in Brooklyn, so the pandemic was phenomenal for us.
Yeah.
And then Miami.
Oh yeah, then we moved to Miami for 4 months.
Nice.
We did a Netflix special. We did these turn your phone videos that were just awesome, and that
I remember
inspired
the
the
turn your
Netflix
phone.
special. So like,
Did it start out as a turn your phone?
yeah. And
I mean, dude, the first time I saw you was on Rogan's Instagram.
Yeah, Rogan was he's just the fucking man. He's always being supportive.
And fuck, dude, I was just like, this guy. I think you were sending me Andrew's turn your phone back, bro.
Thank you. But yeah, we were doing it, and it was a cool time for us because we were focused on because two things. But we also had the studio. We had the facility built in. Not everybody had that. So yeah, you gotta take advantage of those, man.
So the New York comedy scene,
Yeah.
compared to the LA comedy scene, what's the difference?
You're a little instigator, aren't you?
We gotta go to the LA Comedy Scene website.
Pretty cool. No, what is the difference now?
I mean,
I mean, the LA comedy scene, do you mean Austin comedy scene?
That shit is on fire. I mean, like, what we know, the modern LA comedy scene, what we know was really like the Joe Rogan comedy scene. Because if you went there before Rogan really turned the Comedy Store into what we all know it to be, it was a depressing fucking place. Like, I remember, like, years ago, over a decade,
Rogan
going in
and also the old Booker before Rogan, nobody liked.
Right, and then a new Booker got in, and then Adam, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
And then they really turned that place around, and then, I mean, Rogan's just superstardom, and then there was other guys who just fucking exploded, and there was just this amazing energy. Like, I remember going over there, and as a New York comic, initially, I'm like, these motherfuckers are soft with their big act outs and shit, like, what the fuck is this? And then I remember going over there and be like, oh my god, there's a fucking energy here, and these motherfuckers are hilarious, and, like, it was just some stupid rivalry that we, like, make up in our fucking heads. And I don't know, to like justify why we are where we are. And the energy was unbelievable in that fucking room. I mean, there was 3 rooms, multiple shows, everything. And I remember being there going, wow, this is where it is. This is the energy. And now with Rogan there, I was there not too long ago. It's just not the same, bro. The feeling is not the same.
He also took a segment with him.
Yeah,
took a chunk of people.
He took the
Tony
people too.
Segura.
Yeah.
Bert, I think Bert is moving. No, is Bert still there?
Tony.
I think
No, we're still in LA. But
Maybe
Tom
Bert
Segura.
just lives
He's on the road, yeah.
like their couch.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
Not to say their couch, but like he's just like they've got their 2 Bears cave
yeah.
in Austin.
Yeah.
So I think that Bert's doing a lot of commuting.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever
his family in LA, his kids are there. Probably don't know
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Like he's all over the place when comedy.
Dude,
He's not like.
Bert Kreischer, I love that guy.
He's a great
I fucking
guy.
love him so much.
He's a great guy.
I love.
But yeah, man, the New York scene. I mean, you should explore the New York scene a little bit.
I would love to, man. I don't spend nearly enough time out here.
The difference between New York and LA is in New York.
Well, in LA, it's more like sex scandal, and in New York, it's like. What's the scandal for you guys? Is it?
I don't know if we have scandal.
No.
We're not famous enough. That's the difference. there's not enough fame going on in the New York scene for there to be a scandal.
Wow.
You have to reach a certain level of success to get me to.
Yeah, it's just a crime otherwise.
No, but I think what the difference is, you can make a living doing spots here.
Okay.
And in LA, at least when I would go back to the day, you couldn't make a living doing spots. So the LA comics were much more industrious. Like, there's no question that the podcast scene exploded in LA because these people are like, I need to find a way to feed my family.
Right.
And I need to make a living, and I'm not going to do it getting paid like $7.50 at the Improv. Like, I remember once I did a spot at the LA Improv, which is a great club, and they made me sign like a paper.
Sure.
And they gave me an envelope, and there was change in it. There was like 2 quarters, and I handed it back, and I was like, it's okay, buddy. Like,
As a,
to the waitress or something.
It's like, I don't know if there's a matter of principle, but just like, there were so many times for years at the Laugh Factory, I was like, yeah.
Just keep it. Give it to the waitstaff. You give it to the waitstaff. But like,
There is also an energy that this whole city is bigger than stand-up. New York, if you go to be a stand-up, you find stand-ups, you hang out with stand-ups. LA, that's impossible. You're surrounded all the time by everyone doing everything. And so I think you just naturally gravitate to that. I think spot pay definitely is a factor, but also the energy. Even when I wasn't getting spot pay in New York, I would go to LA and I'm just around guys filming everything. Like King Batch is a guy, and he did stand-up after he got famous, I think, but I don't think he did.
I never knew about him doing stand-up.
He does it now, but I think he's just fine. Like, that cracked off there. We were laughing at that shit.
I mean, LA is built around Hollywood. It's built around filmmaking. That's what it's for, and that's why you go there. And I don't think anybody is going there specifically to do just stand-up. I love stand-up. I want to get great at stand-up, and I also like to do these other things that are within the film industry. And nobody comes to New York to be in film. Nobody comes to New York to be in TV. If you're coming to New York to do stand-up, you're just coming because you love stand-up, and then maybe you're hoping you get a writing job on a show that might shoot here.
Right.
But if you come to New York to be an actor and a comic, you're an idiot. Go to LA. Like, it's
what Bill
built
Burr
there
did.
for you. Bill Burr did what?
Went to New York to be an actor and a comic.
He was an idiot for that. Okay, and what happened? He came here and he became the best comic. Acting is still getting there.
Right.
Sounds like, but he is the best.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker, you know, earns his chops.
Yeah.
Who knows,
Wait,
maybe he
what?
goes to
I gotta
LA
do that over?
And he's the best actor. And then we miss out on some of the fucking best bits ever.
He's putting together a movie right now.
Yeah.
That he directed and starred in.
Yeah.
And we'll see, dude. Maybe.
He's the
No,
best.
I honestly think he's a good actor. I think his point is it just took so long to
Right.
for him to get the opportunity. Even Breaking Bad was like, what, 2012 or whatever the fuck.
This is where,
2 Netflix specials in.
yeah, like, this is the thing with Bill, is like, Bill's so fucking prolific as a comic, he can never be that great as an actor. Like,
It's a tough one.
yeah, it's like you'd have to be Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
as an actor to compete with where you are as a comic.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, if he sucked at comedy and then we saw him acting, we'd be like, oh, that's his fucking thing.
Right.
But we're comparing him to who he is. Like, even
Right.
with Eddie Murphy was so fucking
What the
amazing
hell?
as a
Did
comic.
Eddie Murphy ever
Wanna do that
have
again?
a new special
Ah,
come out? Did he have a
shit.
deal to do a new special?
Looks like I'm heading back to the fucking
Yeah, did that never
the
come
shit
out,
to
right?
be.
Well, I mean, he's got to, he's got to go on the tour. He's got to do the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the part he doesn't seem to
Okay, so
really
what
wanna
the
do.
fuck are these people like? Gabriel Iglesias filmed a special at
Hero,
Dodger
dog.
Stadium.
Hero. Fucking
Unbelievable.
amazing.
But what do you do about the? Oh, dude, I actually asked this question. I got
Do
to
about what?
Film
about
people
the
film.
fucking cell phone. You know,
Oh, that videotaping? I mean, they can do that Yonder shit.
Yonder shit is like prohibitively expensive, at least to me. So
Yeah.
so I just, because I have the video component, I start with a video of me saying, please, like, you're not invited to
You
steal
see
my
someone
shit.
filming,
Yeah.
beat the
Yeah,
shit out of
exactly. I
them.
think
You
this
see
is
something like
called
that,
out.
yeah.
For sure, and I find that very effective. But I was told that Adam Sandler, dude, and this is fucking genius. He has an audio guy record every single show that he does and then submit the file to YouTube, to all the things, so that like the copyright that can pick up. If anybody posts a clip, it's going to match that audio and it's going to get...
Mark that.
What a surprise the Jewish guy found out how to save money. Shocker.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
Where were you on that one, dog?
I mean, that's pretty
Brilliant.
That's fucking genius.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I really, really like
Because
that.
people don't realize how expensive it is to have your special leaked.
Oh, dude.
Like, if it takes you, let's say, a year or two minimum to develop a really great hour, and someone leaks that before you can tour it,
Even worse, what if they fucking record it and leak it before you've gotten it to that point, you know?
yeah, agreed. Like, when the bits just aren't there. So now
Yeah.
that there's this version of you that isn't as good as you know you are,
Right.
and now people are like, well, I don't need to go see that. But it's just, I guess people realize how, like, delicate this is for us. Like, this is how we make a living, and it takes so long to develop the material that we have to monetize that material. We go on these long tours because we're going to perform in front of people, but also because this is how we make a living. And if you give away our living,
Right.
it's fucked up. And there's some, I think most people might, like, snap a shot or they have a few seconds,
Right.
but the people who are like, I specifically want to film you and put the whole thing, like what they did to Louis C.K., the person, like,
I didn't hear about that
I
one.
went to a comedy club, I think Long Island, and like recorded the whole set and uploaded it. It's just like, you asshole, man.
Right, and then who's the Broadway guy that, like, has his dick out and then...
Louis C.K.
Jesse Williams.
that was the thing?
Oh yeah, leak that, boy. If I feel like that song,
Yeah.
leak that shit. That's the PVC.
Yeah, dude. Alright, man. Well, fuck, dude. What else, bro?
Man, I just so appreciate you came in, my brother. How long is this out for?
We're here tomorrow. We play tomorrow night.
Oh, that's it. Because I know you're filming something you can't talk about.
Yeah, it's a very secretive, confidential, lucrative thing. Yeah,
It was really cool to see you transition to stand-up and take it seriously, but still make it your own.
Well, thank you,
That's a
man.
very cool thing to see, because a lot of people would just do it as a money grab. And I get it, do your thing, but it's much cooler what you're doing.
I appreciate that a lot, man. And I mean, to do the comedy club circuit and make it back around to the loop, like, I mean, that's kind of the...
Anybody can get one lick.
Yeah.
If they come back, that's
I understand
that's
completely. That's how I feel like when I be smoking sometimes.
Louis said once, he's like, every great show that you do buys you one bad one in the market.
Wow, I like that.
You know, and I thought that was a really good way of putting it. It's like, if you go and kill in Vancouver, they'll come back the next time you're in Vancouver.
Right.
If you suck in Vancouver, they're not coming back. So I think I think that just time exposes people who are using stand-up as like a quick money grab.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you've been putting the time in and you've been creating something that's unique to you, then you should be good, man. I'm curious about the show. Now I wanna check out the show.
Well, thanks, dude. I'm tremendously proud of what I've done with.
Is your dad proud?
He's not. I mean, he's proud of the business. It's like, you know.
Do you ever tell
Your
him?
dad act like he was the CEO of Coke. I had enough of this guy. Not proven to you.
Well,
He sells diabetes.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Dude,
What's the big deal?
not only was I born into like the soft drink program, but when he left the soft drink program, he became a corporate executive for R.J. Reynolds Tobacco.
This guy, how dare he judge you? How dare he judge you? He wants to kill your whole mom's side of the family.
Right.
What type of tobacco specifically? Menthols?
Well, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco was in charge of Camel, Joe Camel.
Oh, they're
Marketed to
fucking
children.
monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy hates kids, dude. That's why you don't want to have him. That's why he neglected you. He want to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And during the 80s, the cigarettes were found to be not good for you.
Yeah.
So the
I
tobacco companies started buying up food companies, and Dad became a corporate executive for RJR Nabisco. So he started fucking selling cookies, dude.
This guy, dude.
Soda, cigarettes, and fucking cookies.
He's a drug dealer, man.
Yeah, dude. Your dad's a fucking Taliban, bro.
But he's also intimately involved in my business.
Oh,
you know?
really?
Yeah, very much.
He
so.
helps you on the business side.
Yeah, and I can say proudly that Dad's not. My relationship with Dad isn't great because
Do you do that? You say dad in front of other people who have dads as if it's all about dads?
Some people do that, right?
Some people do that.
All right, my
I
dad.
don't mind it.
I like that. I
Odd
like that.
hang up he has.
No, it's a weird thing. Daddy said that.
Okay, Daddy, there you go. I apologize.
I say what?
With a girl like you're dating, and then she'll just call her dad.
Hey, apologies.
My wife does that sometimes. I'm dad. I'm dad. Okay?
My dad and I.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Not because I'm successful. Rather, I'm successful because we have a great relationship.
That's fire, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, man.
That's fire.
First contract I ever had was for Real TV in the '90s. Dad, they want exclusive rights to the footage of me on fire breathing while I'm flipping off the roof of the 3-story building, and they want to give me $500. And exclusive means I don't own it anymore. And I was a little more animated than that. Dad said, "Calm down. Decide at which point it's a deal breaker. Draw a line in the sand and stick to it. If it sounds like exclusivity is a deal breaker for you, so why don't you go back, say non-exclusive, and I want 1,000.
Let's go.
So I called back and I got non-exclusive and 1,000, and Dad's been in my corner ever since.
Wow. I love it. Is there a moment that you had with him where maybe he didn't say it, but you're like, he's very proud of it?
Well, yes, and I went to the University of Miami out of high school, fucked up in every way, kicked out of the dorms, failed out of classes, Upton, dropped out, became homeless. And I was homeless for fucking 3 years. Had the government testing drugs on me for money because I had too much pride to ask Dad for help.
Oh, God.
Sorry, my dad. And I ended up finding out about Clown College. I went to Ringling Brothers in Barnum Village Clown College, and Dad was not fucking feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, he was not fucking feeling it. And after I graduated from Clown College, on his own initiative, he said, hey, I want to tell you that I feel I've done a disservice to you by not supporting you in this career path that you're clearly committed to. And he's, like, Dad grew up, his family was all PhDs, theologians, clergymen, fucking zoology, decorated academics in every form. And Dad was the black sheep for going into business. He said, I didn't choose a career path that my dad supported for me. And then my dad said to me, hey, you didn't become what I would have chosen for you, but since you're committed, I want you to just be the best you have. And he said, this fucking... and he pledged to support me, and that put a lot of wind in my sails, and that's why. Beautiful. That was 1998, and then I think it was like, if not the same year, it was like just a matter of months later, I saw that Real TV commercial. It said, if you've got some video footage that you think we might want to see, send it in. I called him up and I said, I don't have footage you might want to see. I have footage you need. And I sent it in, and all they wanted was the fire-breathing front flip off the 3-story building. I'm like, seriously? Out of all the fucking shit I sent you, that's all you want? Yeah, so my dad's the shit. And you're the shit, so thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm sorry for all the gay shit. I'm sorry for all the...
I'm really stoked for you, man. I mean this, and I came up watching you, and I always thought that you're incredibly entertaining, and it's cool that you have positioned yourself where you're in control of your destiny. And I think a lot of guys that are in your situation in entertainment in general, not just because they're doing stunts, but they're doing TV, they're doing film, whatever, they just don't have that type of control. And when they stop becoming like the hot thing in the industry, they go on tough times. And I think you've kind of built something where you get to decide whether your times are tough or not. And I admire that, and I think it's great, man.
I appreciate that a lot, man.
You guys, if you need anything, you let us know.
Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you.
What? I turned it off a minute ago.
I don't know if you're trying to...
Shit, I throw some lo-fi on or something. So let me be so damn quiet. I'm doing another podcast. Hold on, let me see. Anybody else got something new? I've seen that already. Okay, nope, I got nothing new. Yeah, let's see what Mike Tyson got to talk about.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday. What you think? I want to do this? You think I want to just wake up?
Yo, whatever happens in Vegas. You already know. Don't you love me, baby? Don't you love me? Oh. Keep doing that, make it over. And you know what's crazy? some noise for Mike motherfucking Tyson. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, thank you. I didn't expect you either.
No. I'm gonna be honest, Mike. Mike, your transition has been the best transition I've ever seen in life.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
My brother, start off with a complete Drink Champs intro. Let's do it. Complete Drink
One
Champs
of the
intro.
baddest boxers, one of the baddest men, one of the most improved people ever in life. A person that I look up to personally, because New York City, we got the best energy in the fucking world.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
Sick of this nigga.
New York is Miami building. But if you from New York, California, you know.
Oh shit, he got Buddy in here. Okay then.
And I watched every documentary. I watched every. This is the most exciting heavyweight champion ever.
Thank you, brother.
Ever in existence. And in case you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, we talking about the one and only Iron Mike motherfucking Tyson. You know, Recession Proof, I want to thank you.
Thank y'all,
for
man.
putting this
For having us
together.
here.
For doing what you guys do. For continuing the success of black entrepreneurship. You know,
Passing it on. Passing, teaching, educating.
But Tyson,
I had no idea I was going to come here and see so many beautiful black people.
listen, I had no idea.
I thought I was just here with I thought I was here to mingle with these guys. Crash stuff. And I see that I'm in front of a bunch of erudites and I have to conduct myself different, huh? Y'all don't want to hear my shit, man. Alright, so we're gonna be very nice, okay? At least I will attempt.
But this is Recession Proof. Mike, tell me about
recession. Tell me about recession.
You gotta realize that Recession Proof means that these are the people who survived. With the people that didn't survive. Like Mike survived. Like Mike has survived. Like Mike. So Mike, let's just be clear. This is Drink Champs. We real niggas. We're gonna keep it straight to the point. The white boys bother you on the flight. Let's just keep it real, Mike. I need a drink. I need a drink. They didn't press charges. That was gangster. I'm gonna drink some more wine.
Even though they didn't press charges and I was in the right, from a moral perspective,
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have touched them.
No, Mike, we agree that you were right. Sometimes you just gotta tap a nigga. Sometimes,
I'm a recovering junkie and alcoholic. I do inventory every night. Okay. You know, and I didn't pass that well.
What?
Yeah, that's just me. I do inventory.
On yourself.
Every day, because I get dark. I can get really dark, so inventory gives me the
I got one more of them damn things to do.
Mike, you're a great person. We've seen your struggle. We've seen everything. We watch you.
But I don't want to be great. I know a lot of great people, but they're not good people.
Say it again, please.
I want to be a good person.
Not just great. Great doesn't equal good.
You know what great is? Great is just doing the hardest shit in the world with the simple of ease. And a lot of people do that. Do the hardest shit in the world like it's nothing.
Because it's easy for them?
No, because they've been gifted. They have the
Right,
gift.
they have the gift that makes it easy for them to do that.
No, nothing's easy. They have to put in that work.
Right.
They have to dedicate themselves. If they don't, the gift won't work. The gift only works when you put in that spirit of fighting, the will to win,
Right.
the refuse to lose. The only reason I succeed in life because I want to be up more than anybody in the world wants me to be down. And that's just what it is. And I'm just a really competitive. I'm really an animal. I'm the kind of guy you put me somewhere in Moscow, you put me anywhere, and that's what I want to do. I want to compete and see what happens. With no money in my pocket, nothing. I'm that kind of an animal.
What's the sport of it?
No, for life.
That's real, Mike. And at one point, Mike, you had a tiger.
I had quite a few.
You had a few tigers at one time?
Yes.
How does that work?
It doesn't work. It really doesn't work.
How long did it not work?
Well, until they got a certain age. Around 1 year old, you couldn't sleep with all three of them. You know?
Oh, they literally slept with you?
Yeah.
You wild.
Because we also watched The Hangover.
Yeah, that
and
was
in The Hangover, they stole your tiger. And then
that wasn't
white guy.
That wasn't my real tiger. That was actor's
Was
tiger.
it based on some reality?
Anyone knows I had tigers in the past, so they played it off of that. And it's very widespread that Mike is really bizarre when spending his money, and I bought a lot of bizarre things.
But we like, as black people, that our ancestry come from Africa, we like that you had a tiger, sir.
He had more than one tiger.
Yeah, I know. But then that has to mean our ancestors from India like me because there's no tigers in Africa.
Legit, they're from India.
Hmm?
France is in France they have a rock page that's around 40,000 years old, and it's in France. And at that time, France wasn't. It was connected to Africa because in France there's no lion, and they had a lion, painting of a lion,
right,
without the mane. So 40,000 years ago, the lion didn't have a mane.
Huh? Yeah, it's on Rona.
Just think of explaining who you are. Explain your existence just to them.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should have figured that much.
DJ fan. I'm a Cuban.
I guess I can finish that off.
Dave Chappelle called him the Latin Santa Claus.
And I'm in. And I'm hey, we got the same white beard.
Yeah.
I don't think no one will call him the Latin Santa Claus.
No,
I would be the Black Santa Claus.
Let's go with the Black Santa Claus.
Hey, we can join forces and do Santa Claus shit.
So, Mike, we came to see you on Hot Box.
Yes, you did. That was the one.
And I should have late. Sorry, guys.
Yes, but one thing Mike told us, and you made it clear, you said you do not drink.
No. If I drink, I'm so allergic to this shit. Every time I drink, I break out the handcuffs and shit. Man, this is just my dude. And plus, if I drink this shit, I can't fit my pretty clothes. I can't fit. I have to wear my. I just can't do it, man. Too much sugar.
So I have to ask, when you were boxing at the highlight of your career, Donald Trump, what's the other nigga with the Don King. What's wrong with y'all? The way you said Don and Don goes together. Have you ever drank and had a fight?
Many times.
Do not tell me the Buster Douglas fight.
No, many times at a fight. Many times.
Can you remember a specific fight that you had?
Yeah. I was in Brooklyn, I had a fight. The reason, I don't know, somebody was bald and said something to me, and I'm high, I'm on cocaine, so I'll fight for any reason. I started the fight probably, right? And
did you just say cocaine? He said, I'm sorry. I heard that, I'm sorry.
You're supposed to.
Well, it's the first cousin of drinking, okay?
It started with drinking. Let's everybody make some other drink. Come on. Everybody make some. This is like, wait a minute. Don't get in it, okay?
That's just, I was back then. Why? Huh?
I said, documentary called Chasing Tyson. Did you see that documentary?
Tell me about it first. What happened?
It's a documentary, 30 for 30, and Evander Holyfield, yes, it's about him chasing you his whole career.
To fight him.
To fight him his whole career. And what's weird is Evander Holyfield lives in my building.
At this moment, he lives in your building?
And I can never say the best, I can never say nothing good to him. Every time I see him, I'll be like, you know, I just saw Tyson, and he just be looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, it's just weird. Every time I see him, I'll be like, and I saw him this morning, and I was like, you know, I'm going to interview Tyson. He just looked at me like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, every time I see him, I bring up Tyson, and I said, this is the weirdest.
No, you confused that. He's very, believe it or not, he's very eloquent, very respectful and dignified.
Yes.
That's who he really is.
And he also looks at me like this every time I look at him.
We tease him because of that, right?
and you know what I forgot? I forgot we're New York guys. Sorry, I know you're not a New York guy. I don't know. But every time I say something, I feel like I'm representing from a New Yorker.
You know,
and I realize the world kind of hates New York.
I was going to say, we're, what's that word? We're intrusive. New York people are very intrusive, and we want them to know that we're tough. That's what anybody say, oh, my cousins in New York, all of them think they're tough. Yeah, we have that bag where we think we're tough.
I gotta agree with you, Mike. My partner would agree with you too, but he's not gonna agree with you tonight.
Why? Why is that? What did I do?
Because you're Mike Tyson. And no one wants to disagree with Mike Tyson.
Nah, y'all intrusive. I agree.
Hey, listen, don't make me the idiot by not interacting with me, okay?
Has cannabis saved your life?
I would think 100. I should have been smoking when I was fighting. I was drinking like a
What kind of
sailor.
fighter would you have been smoking, honestly?
I've been such a better fighter. The one time I did fight with cannabis, I broke the guy's back. I broke his busted his spleen. Broke his eye socket, his cheek, his eye to the number. And I was high.
Number on the guy.
And I was hey, listen, time. There may be some children in here, and I don't advise you to get high while you participate in sports.
Good way to put it.
All right.
But
I might disagree, but I'm not in sports.
But to be fair, you were doing other things at that time
Does
before
everybody
you smoked
leave?
weed.
Oh, cocaine, acid, nigga. I'm a junkie. I'm a born
So
junkie.
weed would have been the more chill of the things he was doing.
It was too mild, baby.
Right.
I'm too extreme. So I'm the junkie, else I'm the monk.
You're one or the other. You're the extreme of each.
I'm not a balanced person. No way.
Right.
No way. I might kill myself if I get balanced. Shit. Don't do that. Like, no.
Talk to himself right now. Don't do that, Mike.
No, by the way, I'm so appreciative of the realness. You just look at him and you could tell.
Mike never fucks around.
He's not
When
fucking
we came
around.
to his compound, what was the compound out there?
All I remember was him you gave him the Smoke Champs thing.
Right.
He opened it up.
I always started over from the
garbage
okay.
of the Smoke Champs.
So let's just start it over from the beginning. I was about to be like, nope.
I came late that day.
Okay, yeah, now I ain't about to do this shit
I'm
solo.
ready to get the fuck out of there.
I'll do something else.
Because do you realize you're intimidating?
All right. You think I'm intimidating?
Yes.
All right, me and my wife are in bed this morning. And we're talking about Devontae Davis and this Jolie guy, right?
Fight tonight.
My wife said...
Barclays.
I
In the
tell my
Barclays.
wife...
We're going to fight tonight.
Oh, you gotta hear this. You know family members hate too, right?
Right. No.
So me and my wife, so I said, Rolly's not gonna fucking win. Look, I saw him fight. He's not gonna beat this guy, all right? And she said, they didn't think Buster Douglas was gonna beat you.
Wait, your wife told you that?
This morning. This morning. I said, that's okay, you're a hater. I said, that's okay, you're a hater, but look at me now. Okay?
You know, that's the most beautifulest thing about Chasing Tyson. In case you didn't watch this documentary, which I watched this this morning was every single victory you admitted, and every single loss you admitted the same way. But not only did you admit it, you actually made fun of yourself. You said every time I look at Holyfield, we all gotta look back and say, oh, he beat us. I thought that was the most amazing thing ever.
I'm a great fighter. And I'm gonna say, Holyfield's a hell of a fighter. Wow. God damn. You gotta kill him to beat him. He won't fucking quit.
Okay, Tyson. And I gotta say something. I gotta answer your wife's question that she said this morning.
Yeah, do that, please.
Had you been at tip-top shape, there's no way Buster Douglas could have beat you that night in Japan.
I agree 100%. But I wasn't in tip-top shape. And that's what it's all about.
That's hell of a
I love this honesty, man.
The real deal.
I'm gonna pop me some Ace of Spades, man. You're not going to me pop some Ace of Spades. Mike Tyson. No.
Why is it so fancy looking? Listen, I used to be a drink connoisseur.
Okay, so I need you to connoisseur my drink.
I don't know nothing about that one. Tell me that.
All right, listen. This used.
We got a quick time with
This used to be ordered. This used to be owned by white people.
What?
When you say white people, tell me who? What kind of white people?
I don't know. This is just normal white people.
The race of whiteness owns this company,
You wasn't
right?
there when Jay-Z explained.
No, I wasn't there.
So this is owned by white people. Jay-Z went and tried to buy Cristal. Cristal was racist. He didn't like their racism. So he went and he bought this company.
When you say racism, did they say, no, nigga, you can't buy this? Did they use those exact words?
Mike, I have no idea if they said, no, nigga, you can't buy this. But I'm going to be honest, Mike. In my opinion, that's what they said to Jay-Z. No, nigga, you cannot buy this. So Jay, from Brooklyn,
Yes.
and he said, I can never be told no. And he went and he bought a better champagne, a more equivalent champagne. And this caters to my Kool-Aid tendencies. I love this champagne.
It really is a lovable looking bottle.
Don't this shit look good?
Yeah.
And guess what? Black people, we own this motherfucker. I don't got a stake. I don't got an ownership. But you know what? I'm going to promote this and I'm going to represent it like it's mine. Because that's what we should do with all our products as black people. Not as just black people, but as hip-hop people. When Mike Tyson, I had something, I forget what it was called. It was called, I had your ear.
My cousin.
Edibles.
I ate them shits like it was a Vander's ear for real.
I can't keep them on the shelf.
You can't keep them on the shelf.
No, I'm gonna try to buy millions and see what happens. Try to get $1 million.
Out the door.
Put them on the shelf. You can't keep 50,000, 100,000.
Wow.
Wiped out. For the week over.
Well, Mike, we gonna eat them ears up.
I have a problem that they're too strong.
They're too strong.
For me.
How many milligrams is each?
Like 11, 12.
Not microdosing.
No, little, middle, almost micro.
Mike doesn't believe in micro. I just learned that backstage.
No, you gotta do it all.
He's like
Get it
macro
all.
or nothing.
You gotta do it all to get it all.
You got me macro mushroom right now.
By the way, this is his first time taking a mushroom.
You need more. You didn't take the amount you were supposed to think. You pitched out a little.
I did.
By the way, we're on the plane. By the way, we're loud as hell. I don't know why me and you is loud as hell. But then you say, I'm on mushrooms.
Latino, bro.
Because we're Latino? That's pretty racist.
You buddy,
Yeah, that's pretty racist.
I'm Cuban, buddy, bro.
Spanish people were just loud? That's what they talk about us when we're not around?
Absolutely.
Okay. What do they say about black people? Are we loud too?
No, y'all listen. No, we're not loud at all. We're whispering compared to Cuba.
Hey, man, that's Cuban.
I'm right here, motherfucker. I'm right here, bro.
Cuban people is the loudest people in the world.
No, I think they're fighting.
That's what everybody thinks.
Yeah, right. I'm right. I think they're fighting. They're talking about a game.
Our lady still isn't. She's not Cuban, and she's still not used to it. She thinks I'm always arguing with her.
With these guys, they start talking. I have to walk away. They look at me. Oh no, motherfucker!
I told you a long time ago.
They talking about a horse. Oh, motherfucker!
But it's a calm conversation for us.
Oh, nigga, that's 100 all day.
Now, two of the most boxing places in the world. One, Cuba, and Catskills, New York.
Well,
Custom model.
listen, I don't know if they're that's the boxing capital, it's a really small town, but it is the greatest fighter.
So I know my shit. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. But how would have been Tyson different had Custom Model been Cuban?
Well, fuck, don't call my Cuban people, bro.
You gonna go with it?
Yeah, dig, that's cool. But fighting's about spirit. If he had the same discipline to ignite my spirit, yeah, he would be more successful. It has nothing to do with racism. Your criteria beats his.
That's why.
If you have the same criteria, it works.
I'm just grab my blood.
Please.
Yeah.
So, I think anybody with the will to win and desire not to lose will succeed.
Regardless
I don't
of where
think they're
they're
going to be
from.
a nice. That don't mean they're going to be a nice person, but they will succeed if they refuse to give up. If success is more important than your happiness, you make the choice which one you want.
So you're sacrificing something.
You make the choice.
Right.
This is beautiful. Now, I once saw you doing an interview. You have all your belts. And you look at every one of your belts, throw them on the floor. You say, this is what I used to think was my prized possessions. Then the interviewer guy says to you, well, what is your prized possessions now? And you know what you say?
Absolutely.
What do you say?
My babies, the kids.
Goddamn.
I'm almost crying right now.
Well, no, I say that because my kids didn't always like me. Oh no, I was.
Now see right here, right now, it's my son right here. He works right there. I don't think he liked me this morning. I woke him up. I said, nigga, we go to school interview Mike Tyson. Wake your ass up. Yeah.
When we see our kids, we see it in what we've been hiding all our life.
From them or from yourself?
No,
It's true.
no, we see our flaws in them that we've been hiding all our life.
Right.
They come out of our children embrace it. And we're afraid of it. Our time is almost up, our expiration date is almost over. We have to understand these kids are different than we are.
Right.
Almost a different species of human being. My kids are smarter than I ever been at 10 and 13. I'm like an old model now. All the new model.
That's beautiful.
Oh, you're beautiful. It's fucked up.
Transition is beautiful. But you know what, Mike? No, you know what, Mike? Because I'm going to be honest.
Oh, be honest. You've been lying all the time.
Well, you love to start being honest.
I'm going to tell you something that shocked the world. Because we all identify with being black. And being black is sometimes one of the hardest things to be. It's one of the beautifulest things to be. But it's hard at times. And then when you're black and then you're gay, might be even harder. And there was one time you had Boosie on your show. And you so eloquently asked Boosie. Am I saying his name right, Boosie? Yeah. Did I say it right? Yeah. And you said, are you gay? Let me be clear, Mike.
Put it into context. There was a conversation.
Anybody can ask you, are you gay? When Mike Tyson asks you, are you gay? It's a totally different. We are what we hate. We are what we hate. We are what we hate. I don't need no applaud. That's just what it is. Yeah. That's just what it is. Yeah.
I saw y'all gave me a drink and shit. I don't know if y'all telling me to shut up or not. You like what you hate, bro?
No, but Mike say that's faggot. I'm a faggot, but don't want nobody to know. Because that's how that goes. Because we all love Boosie. We all identify with Boosie.
We're going to lay down.
You said that to Boosie, and Boosie looked at you.
It's about now.
We all knew Boosie's not gonna win this one. He only saw me and him talking. Right. I have a trans daughter. She lives in New York City. He got on the plane, fly, I have no idea. I don't even
Leave your mama alone. I feel you in there moving.
So she comes and she just comes in my booth of my show like
She right here.
some fucking and told her that you got Boosie. No, I never told her that. So she was there that day. No, she flew that day and came in. Walked right through.
Yeah, it's right there. You about to have to pee in a minute. Oh, my bad.
Dwayne Wade's son. Right. And so I'm saying, was it that bad for my daughter to come from New York, LA to try to kill this guy, check this guy? Was it that serious, really? Really, was it that serious? I'm talking to my daughter. I guess it was. You know? So I'm trying to talk to this man in a way and where he won't say anything, because my daughter's right there waiting for him to say something. My daughter's meaner than me. I made a mistake and said a bitch at home one day. Shit, don't ever say stop now. Whoa, some crazy shit. Is this when you fall on the scooter? That's the only time I laughed at you, Mike. Now my whole family laughed at me. Yeah, we fell on the scooter. Before I fell, my daughter said, "Be careful, Daddy." And then next thing I know, my back. I've had to go to the hospital. My disc all fucked
Wait,
up.
they still doing that? Oh, wow. My goodness.
But your daughter flew in for Boosie episode. Yeah, that first time that was scary. She's really representing the trans, and she did it in a real violent fashion, and I was just blown away. But it was worked out since then. And Boosie said, "What?" She was my daughter's big and strong. She was fucking sit on Boosie. My family from the South, and they're big, strong women. They fight men. They fight men. Women in my family fight men. Shit got real just now. I almost never have nothing to say.
Let's shift a little bit.
Okay.
We're in Vegas, right? And I can't help to think about Pac while we're here. And I just want to talk about your relationship with Pac. Great stories. Let's just talk about positive stories with Pac.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you about this guy, right? One day we had this. I don't know what happened. It was after party. It was just a big party for an event, and it was at it's on Sunset. What is the Palladium? And I was talking to the security guard. I knew in my life, so we're talking about something, about a business plan we were doing. And then this little kid comes up,
I said, let this kid in. Remember we were young, we went to get in the club. This is a big time club. He'd never dream of club. I said, come on in, shorty.
This is in New York?
No, this is in California.
Okay.
It's the Sunset, the Palladium.
Okay.
And he said, 1 minute. He went and came back with like 50 people. And, no, this little kid.
Oh, the little kid.
And Tupac was one of those guys that we went to let them in the back. And in some kind of way, they even got on the stage, took the mic, they started rapping, and I met Tupac. 6 months later, I'm in prison.
Wait, 6 months later you're in prison?
Yeah. And I get a call from somebody, it's Tupac's mother, and he explained how he known me for my son. I let him in the club one night, and he wants to come and visit me. I said, great, okay. And then he came in to visit me, and once he came into they let him in, and he came to the visit, and those are all real,
Rikers Island?
No.
Ohio.
West Coast.
Indiana.
Okay. It's all hillbilly hick, mean motherfucking Aryan guy. As soon as he came up, everybody started.
So they already knew who he was. They already knew who he was.
No. They respected him. As soon as he came in the room, they started applauding.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, when I was locked up, I had such a ensemble of visitors. I had everybody. B.B. King, Whitney.
B.B. King?
Yeah, James Brown, Whitney Houston, Bobby, yes, everybody came. Florence Henderson, yes. I can't even name them all. There's just so many people came to visit me when I was away.
Let's just keep it real. Tyson, were you having sex in jail?
Yes, I was.
You was?
Yes.
Conjugal visits?
No. Teacher.
Teacher?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
No, I had to go to school to get my GED.
Oh, the teacher.
Let's make some noise for education.
Listen to this. When I get fixed, she got pregnant.
Oh my God. I don't know why I hear this story.
That was crazy, man.
Are you sure? You know there's people out there.
Hey guys, I had sex with my school teacher in prison, and she got pregnant. We weren't using condoms, okay? And yeah, that was happening.
Wow. Obviously she didn't. Stay in school. Stay in school. He was in school.
Yeah,
he was in school. That's what I'm trying to say. Stay in school.
I didn't want to leave prison. I used the language. When after the day I was leaving, I was seeing all the helicopters. I think, fuck.
No, but Mike, let's be clear. When you left prison, you left in a private jet.
Yeah.
You left with anomaly. Like so many people were outside. And so many people. And, but by the way, you came in prison that way, and you left that way. There's not a lot of so as artists, Tupac, they say, follow Tupac's legacy, and it's a lie.
It's a lie?
It's a lie. Meaning, what I mean by that is, go to jail and you'll sell more records. That's not the truth. Right. So these fighters tried to follow that blueprint that you did, and they also failed.
Listen, if I may be permitted to say, I used to believe that I'm ordained by God of the thing.
No, you are. You are.
And I would say that wasn't a blueprint that you made for yourself. That was your life.
No, I don't believe I'm smart enough to navigate myself to the position I am now.
Right.
It's all done in the heaven of your day. There's no way I could fucking do it.
But let's be clear, like, let's talk about this. I don't think I've ever actually heard you actually talk about this. At least in this day and time. Dapper Dan.
What about that? That's my buddy of mine. He looks real good now, doesn't he?
Mitch Green.
I hear he's a born-again Christian.
He's a born-again Christian.
That's why I think...
Let's show him some love.
Yeah, he does deserve love.
You gave him an iPad with this man. At one point in Dapper Dan, 2 a.m. in the morning.
That was like 4 or 5.
4 or 5 a.m. in the morning.
I would like to listen. Sometimes when you're married, you don't want to fucking go home. Okay?
Didn't I know that had anything to do with parents?
Sometimes you don't want to go home, so you stay the fuck out sometimes, okay?
So Dapper Dan, you're at Dapper Dan.
Yeah.
Mitch Green comes up. He think he the baddest.
That was a big mistake, believing that.
So what happens?
I forgot.
You forgot what happened? This nigga life is so dope, he forgot when he beat niggas up. It happens. But it was the most famous story in New York City because these were our two underground vicious motherfuckers. And
I never looked at myself that way. I used to have a good kid. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bad City.
Oh, yeah, Bad City, right?
Oh, you didn't know how they thought about you, Mike?
Yeah, I know. That's what I want
Because
to
let's
say.
be clear, Brownsville. What's up, Charlie? You okay? Charlie.
Oh, my God.
The Brownsville, next to Best Stop. When you think of New York City, let me just be clear.
That's East New York.
I used to get my teeth, I used to get my gold fronts done at Albee Square Mall, and I knew. Oh, you know about Albee Square Mall? And I knew at some point I might get robbed. It's gonna happen. That's how Brooklyn was back then.
Yeah, but as I got older in life, I realized this guy can kill out. These guys, they can't talk his way out of a fucking parking ticket. You know, that's just how it goes.
Sorry.
It's complex.
It's complex.
Anybody can do that shit.
Have you been to Brooklyn recent?
I just left.
Do you know you can get a cream pie in Brooklyn?
That sounded terrible.
But it's the truth. He's right. You get a cheesecake in Brooklyn, and not just a Julius.
But you get cream pie.
And cream pies.
Okay.
But you still get shot, though. You still get shot.
100%.
Yeah. You can get a cream pie, but if you go on the wrong block, Shamika still gonna shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah, Shamika's gonna fucking shoot you.
Have you identified with New Brooklyn?
New Brooklyn?
Yeah. Have you went to Soho?
Gentrified. Yeah, really gentrified.
Gentrified.
You know, I'm cool. You know, I'm cool being with people that's saddled and not civilized and not savages anymore. I have to go through that transition. So it's good to see other people go through that transition.
Right. And you drink.
As a guy from Brooklyn, right? And I know that you wear Brooklyn on your sleeves. Having that relationship with Pac, and then what happened with Biggie, rest in peace to both of them.
Great question.
How did you feel in that turmoil that they had?
Spinning a web around the traveler.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Feathers are coming from those towers.
And that's what it was. It was two people into their feelings too much. Then they say, hey, it's over fucking poof.
Did you know that yourself at that moment? In your space that you were in?
I knew it was going to end really bad. I knew that. I knew it wasn't going to end nice.
Right.
And it did.
But you had a relationship with Big?
Yeah, I met Big one time, and he came to my house for a party. They had a party in my house. And
You had tigers?
they were out in the back, yes.
Okay.
And,
To be clear.
he liked the house, but then he started telling me, hey, do you know China Man? He told me you knew we could fly pigeons. And yeah, that's one of my oldest friends in the world. I knew when I was 8 years old.
Big knew your oldest friend in the world,
Yeah.
China Man, who flew
Yeah.
pigeons.
Yes.
Holy moly, guacamole.
He knew those guys I grew up with named Fame and all shit up the hill, Brooklyn. Yeah, he knew all those guys.
We were forced to choose the deep.
And also had a relationship with Suge Knight.
Yeah, I knew all those guys.
Oh.
And
Suge Knight, Big, Puffy.
Yeah, and listen.
East Coast, West Coast. How the fuck did Mike Tyson never get caught up in the East Coast, West Coast beat? Or did you? Because is everybody just scared of you? Is that
No
the
one's
problem?
scared of me. I treat people the way I want to be treated. Has nothing to do with fear.
But as rappers, that was, as an East Coast rapper, New York, that was probably the worst time of my life. Going through the East Coast, West Coast thing, because
It wasn't a real thing. Let's just put that out there.
a real thing.
East Coast, West Coast was not
never
really
actually
fabricated.
identify and say that it wasn't a real thing. I couldn't say that because the two big dogs, Tupac and Biggie, and when Tupac and Biggie wasn't existing no more, it was hard to say that this beef that we are talking about doesn't exist.
It really was a blink of an eye, and I hear what we talking about don't mean shit.
Whoops. Real talk.
All day.
Real talk. Real talk.
We all have an expiration date, yes, but we still live like we still act as if we live forever.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. Because I just don't think death is bad. You know, I did all the special animal and tree and plant medicine. I did all them on the world. I did everything. The highest psychedelics in the world.
Ayahuasca.
You did ayahuasca?
The toad. Ayahuasca is not the highest.
You don't like ayahuasca?
It's
Overrated?
overrated, yeah.
Okay, Mike, no one has never said ayahuasca is
I wanted to go to Peru
I'm gonna be
with a
honest.
shaman and do the whole ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca is the shit that you about to die, right? And you take it and you gonna die.
Your ego dies. Ego death thing.
Your ego dies?
Yeah. And then you're afraid to really...
And you can't do it in America. You gotta do it in like
No, I mean, they do it here. They have shamans.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
They have shamans.
But until they find... Listen, catching come before hanging.
I feel like we gotta make some noise.
That's not powerful enough for me.
Why just see Will Smith?
Yeah.
Go on David Letterman's ayahuasca. Was that?
He did an ayahuasca trip.
He said that's what he did before he thought about slapping Chris Rock.
The way you put it was not the way you said it. You didn't say I did ayahuasca before I slept.
No, I definitely fucked this up. I fucked it up. But what I'm saying is, it's related. And what he said was, he said he saw his money flying away from him. He saw his life flying away from him. Is that something that you do when you do ayahuasca? Because I'm interested in doing this.
Listen,
we can do it tomorrow right here.
I'm in tonight.
This is okay.
I can't. Wow.
Okay.
This is the real deal.
That's real.
And Will Smith is, he's at a level of life that's really mind-boggling right now, but no one even knows it. No one even knows it.
That's real shit. So let's go on for a second, Mike. One of the illest characters we've ever seen in boxing. I don't think we'll never see another character in boxing again like this character. It's Don King.
Oh, there's gonna always be another Mike Tyson or Don King. You think God only made one of us to exist?
No, there's only one Mike.
No, that's not true. There's more than that. Listen, there's more people in Browntown. Once they learn discipline, they can do anything. They supersede me. That's just real talk. I was an animal driver. I feel like through discipline, but
No, it wasn't good. It went good. I'm going to be on call for catering.
And I watched the ups and downs of Don King, right?
And she said,
One thing I always see.
and if she wants to put me on managing shit, she'll do that too, but she's like, I don't want to worry with no damn paperwork. Paperwork is a fucking headache. We're just So I was just like, well, shit, alright, I'll take that over anything. So she pretty much, yeah, everything went well. I'm in there like swimwear, so. No. I said I'm in there like swimwear. Yep, I said, can I skip that big ass shit? I do not care. But like, we do not care. Motherfucker, I do not care. Oh shit, I got what I was looking for. Cool beans.
That's what being the heavyweight champion is. It's knowing that we can never reach your level, but thinking that we can.
No, that's not how it goes. You can always reach my level. You know, my level is, listen, I don't know who I am right now. If I know who I am right now at this stage of my life, my thinking would be pretty limited. I don't know who I'm going to be.
You're still growing as a person?
My thinking is growing. I don't know who I'm going to be when I'm 75 or 80. I'm not going to be the person I am now.
Right.
It's just that we have to prepare for our expiration date. And the objective of doing ayahuasca is for people who are afraid of dying. And so that's what the plant medicine and the animal medicine is for, preparing us to go to death with dignity.
Not for growth? You don't think that's for growth?
Death is growth.
Yeah, cause I about to say I pretty much got my shit. I put in my final paperwork today for it. You know, like the background check and shit like that, so. I about to say once I send my info in and shit. Also, smoke. Did you smoke? I know it was something in the bowl that I put in there. I know it ain't gonna be nothing for a while, probably, or whatever. It's not a 9 to 5.
Is it weekly? Do you get paid weekly or bi-weekly?
It's not a 9 to 5.
Get paid weekly.
We will never have the greatest heavyweight champion. But let's just be clear, because I feel like you humble. You was about to stop me. But we will never have the greatest heavyweight human being that you have become ever again. Because
Thank you. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, sure. Gotta go to Hong Kong.
Chat with every motherfucking black media motherfucker in the world. And I like to critique the motherfuckers. I like to sit on them. And when that incident happened, every single person said, Mike has to be cleared. And it wasn't Mike has to be cleared because Mike is this. It was Mike has cured himself.
Next time Mike does somebody, he might get killed.
So I'm really happy.
That's got scary.
That's the real deal.
But Mike, let's just be clear.
That's what you love each other. Talk about Mike.
That's what this is about, Mike. You turned to some other shit. But Mike, that's what this is about. Let me just tell you something, Mike.
Me and my wife, we just say, poof, everything that just happened doesn't exist anymore.
But let me say something, Mike. I'm gonna be honest, and I'll be like, because I know I'm probably old. I'm old.
Tell me about old.
I'm 44.
You really? You're 10 years younger than me. And listen, and why do you feel old? Why old?
But let me just be clear. Let me just tell you why. Because Mike, not why I feel old, but let me just tell you why I love you.
No. I want to talk about old.
I can't get back to old, baby. But no. Let me just say something. Some of the best times of my life is watching Michael Jordan beat the Knicks, which I hated, because I'm from New York City, and watching Mike Tyson knock niggas out in 13 seconds.
Well, Mike Jordan is from New York.
Originally?
Yeah.
Yes, Michael Jordan is from New York. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Originally.
He was born in the same hospital.
Wow. Born in the same hospital.
Spike Lee, too.
Spike Lee.
Me and Big Un born on the same day, same time. Our mothers must have met because they had the babies the same moment. Isn't that crazy?
That's real, but I'm gonna be honest, Mike. My father was a boxer. I used to box in a gym called the Lost Battalion. I was never good. In Queens? Yes, in Queens, motherfucker. And guess what, EFN? We used to hear about legendary figure.
He's a sick chick. Sick guy, man.
Customado.
Yes.
Was a frequent person that came there. My father loved Customado. But when they spoke about this guy, and what's crazy about Mike, still to this day, is you a beast in the ring. You a gentleman in real life.
I like to believe that.
You are that, man.
Thank you. You know, I have a wife and I have a daughter. They like keeping me in check.
I realize they got you in check. She got me in check too. I'm gonna be honest.
Mike, let me ask you this real quick though. What impact has hip hop had for you during your career in life, like generationally, like as the generations of hip hop in the 90s versus now, like what has hip hop done for you, the music, the culture?
Hip hop gave me pride because that's our music. No one, when it first came out, it was shit. Even my parents, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Oh my God, you're just gonna go to prison and jail. The cops are gonna arrest you. And I used to always, after training, when having a couple of fights, when I'm at nationals, when I'm 14, 15, I come home, visit, I go right to Latin Quarters. That was my spot, Latin Quarters.
Latin Quarters on 56th Street?
Yeah, right
But you must have been a kid at that point. You was a kid.
Yeah, because when I went there, all the kids that I used to hustle with Broadway, they were there, but I just got there. They're still my friends.
Right.
So that's why I always had that connection. You may see me with certain guys
The fuck did he try to do? Go down there as a champion? Yes, he did.
This guy got my sister pregnant. This guy's the same building. I don't think they're no gangsters. They're not scary to me, but I think society thinks different.
Let me talk about the tunnel days. Did I get Mike hype? What's up? Tunnel days, speed.
That was our youth time. When I was somebody on case, they died in
Rest in peace to
yeah, and bed. That was my piece of time.
I'm not gonna lie, Tyson.
Always go there, he was DJ at that corner.
I used to be the little nigga around, but every time you came around, I definitely avoided you. I was scared to death of you.
I always loved you, though.
You was famous back then.
No, I always listen. I know about you before you became about all those things.
You know, pick me up? You picking me up?
Nah,
make some noise for Tyson picking me up, goddamn. Let me just tell you something. It was so beautiful to see the heavyweight champion of the world in New York City.
No, I was the hip-hop champion, nigga.
That's what...
No. They have no champion in the hip-hop.
It's facts. It's facts.
But I thought he was champion. Another champion. No, but listen, this is the deal, right?
This is fact what he's saying, right?
This is facts. Guys like us were never bigger than hip-hop or boxing, because that gives us a great platform.
Just tweet it out. No one's bigger than the culture.
And that's what I was going to ask him. I was going to ask him, did you know that although you were an athlete, although you were in boxing, did you know how hip-hop you were?
Absolutely.
What you were to the culture?
Yeah, I listened to the music all day while I'm training. Right. Well, before I go to bed, it just became who we were. Hip-hop created a new species of person.
And that person was embodied in Mike Tyson.
And him and you. Put it all on.
Fuck himself.
And those guys back there.
That's what it is. It created a new species of human being. That's yeah, really.
I say that all the time.
You actually say that. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I'm sorry. I was being honest the whole time.
Okay.
Are you lying right now?
No, but it like, you know, doing the research and just sitting back and saying, damn, we had the greatest heavyweight champion of all times, but we still have the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. And when I say we, I do mean New York City. I do mean Brooklyn. I do mean Queens. I do mean. But you know what I also mean? I mean hip-hop.
I mean, for all of us,
our culture.
The country, everybody, the world.
Everything that the country possesses, America possesses, hip-hop, entrepreneurs, businessmen, billionaires, criminals, you know what I mean? Right. Listen, I'm going to say to you, when hip-hop first started, in the early 80s, and you look at the top 20 hip-hop stars, they all been locked up. Now these guys have been in private schools, all these guys, you know, they have tutors.
No, I did 3.5 years in jail though. That's real.
Yeah, but you look at a guy like
Spofford, because you was in Spofford.
Absolutely. That's why I met my soul, Muhammad Ali in Spofford.
You met
Muhammad Ali came and talked to the kid and I said, wow, I want to be like him. I was 12.
What unit you was in? You remember?
83.
I was in D3.
83, yeah. I was with the big boys though. D3 like older.
I was a shooter.
Yeah, you a bad kid.
I was a foul nigga, Mike.
Yeah, I know that's why you're 83, nigga.
Bad child.
I apologize.
Everybody, like when I first went to Spofford, I was so scared. I heard the story. And then when I went to the yo, Mike, you're 30 years. I saw all my people. I thought they were dead. I said, where you been? I thought you were 30 years. I thought these guys were so good. Once I knew my own neighborhood, I kept going. Yeah, I kept going. And then one day I saw Muhammad Ali and said, wow, I want to be like him. As soon as I got transferred to the next facility, it was a gentleman named Bobby Stoops. Yeah, and he's a professional fighter. And he started teaching me how to fight. And I got
prison?
Yeah, an institution. A young kid. Upstate.
hear about you custom model Catskills because the thing about New York is New York. We're right here, but then it's another place. It's still New York.
It's New York. It's the state of New York.
It's New York State.
Come on, gang.
That you can either go to jail there.
Well, listen, that's funny. 85, 9W, straight on to Kentucky, all the jails.
On that road. Yep.
On that road.
On that road. So you can either go to jail there or train there.
Yeah, you're right.
And you chose the train there.
After I did time.
I told him, why? How is that? Like, how is that period? Because New York at this time is obviously more taking pocketbooks. It's even taking pocketbooks at this time. Get more much in the store.
Fucking rush the jury store all the time.
Like, that sounds like right now. So, we know New York is bad again.
Really? With the country, everything's bad.
Never been bad.
I've never been treated bad.
No one's gonna treat Mike Tyson bad.
Yeah, you're really good. Listen, that Mike's on drugs, they don't even know Mike Tyson.
That reminds me because there was somebody, we see footage of somebody who says, Mike, we love you. And I'm gonna tell you something. Guy goes, Mike, we love you. And then he has a gun on him, right? But he moves out the way. And I'm gonna tell you what I did. I called my Uncle Wise. Got out to my Uncle Wise. And I told my Uncle Wise, I said, yo, Uncle Wise, those has been my fans. The same exact fans for years. If you listen to my fans have always come up to me and be like, what's up, nigga? They mad aggressive. And if you actually look at their gestures, it is not right. But it's all love. Listen to what they're saying. It's all love. It's all love. They're saying, what's up, nigga? I did a bid to you. Even though that's fucked up. Why are you telling me you did time to my music? Don't like it.
We all express love differently.
Love is
even though he expressed that love pretty crash, you understood everything he said.
But you didn't even move, Mike. He said, Mike, I love you. You went like that.
I was too high.
You was too high. On shrooms?
Yeah, I was too high. I'm looking at the fucking comedian Bob Days and all, and this guy standing in front of the comedians talking shit. I love you, you my man. I said, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And this other guy started, please get the fuck out of it. Then he pulls out the gun. I'll kill you, nigga. You know, that type of shit. I said, my friend, come here. Give me a hug. Just chill out. Be cool. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, man.
It's okay.
Did you see the footage?
No.
Oh, listen. Homeboy pulled out a gun. Tyson said, come here. Let me give you a hug.
Listen, I can look at the gentleman that I knew he didn't want to hurt me. I've dealt with people.
already knew what time.
I've dealt with people that wanted to hurt me. So I knew he didn't want to hurt me.
And you kept saying, Tyson, you were let you fuck this nigga. And Tyson, he dealt with that shit in a way where I was like, damn.
Nah, nigga, I'm possessed with so much fucking love, man. That one niggas want to kill themselves.
Hold on. There's this famous clip. I mean, you lived the clip. You was there. Arsenio Hall show. When you showed love, I think it was Sugar Ray,
Muhammad Ali.
And who else?
Muhammad Ali.
There was a third person there.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, and was it? No, it was them three.
No, he was the one showing love to them.
Yes.
Like,
and then they asked him if Muhammad Ali would fight him in his prime.
This is the thing. The idea that is passed around today, that clip, as an example, and I just want to say, what is that an example of to you? Never mind what we think that is an example of. What is an example of to you what that clip represents?
The student giving respect to the master. Absolutely. I want to iterate. I saw that nigga at 12 when I was here talking to you.
What you said?
I saw Ali when I was 12 years old. Well, I saw you talking to you now.
What?
Bitch and all that shit.
What?
Just looking at somebody.
Ali?
Yeah. Fighting fucking pissed. I'm serious, nigga.
It's walk.
It changed life.
Some divine shit. Yeah. Scary, right? You know, I see this nigga now.
What? Now we did see the head go. And the white guy didn't have the tattoo.
Yeah.
You don't like this guy having the tattoo?
I love that guy. No, listen, that's just part of my whole whatever you think it was, this chain shit in that movie. Because by that time, most of the people that from the beginning of my career were involved in my career, it died. So now different, it was just a different time and a different element of people that never knew me as a fighter and knew me as a actor and stuff. Right. And it's pretty humbling. I went to a high school and the teacher, the president had a screen showing the kids some of my fights because they never saw me fight. They thought I was an actor. Yeah, and that was really humbling. But one of the kids said, I think my grandfather told me about you. That was humbling. You wanted to be humble. Oh, shit. You little ninth grade motherfuckers.
Most kids don't know I rap before neither. They say, you podcast, nigga. So you gotta make a Moana movie, bro. Well, listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. Recession proof. And you've been sitting here humbly.
Nah,
You haven't been saying nothing.
Alright guys, I'm gonna call it a stream for tonight. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Well, technically later. I'll be seeing you guys later, and for the ones that's not in the same time zone, I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. So, oya sami. See you next time.